media members are so negative. No, we're just not fans. You're a fan. You're allowed to have whatever opinion you like. I'm media. I'm allowed to have whatever opinion I like. If you don't like it, you can close the stream. You can say I'm wrong. That's fine. It's not going to change. But I'm reading the writing on the wall here, and y'all have way too much faith in WME. Way too much faith. You're just sitting there going, look, I like this fight. Yeah, everybody likes this fight, fuckhead. Everybody likes this. There's no one out there going like, Stipe versus DC is going to suck balls. No, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Everybody's saying that. That's not, the argument is not whether DC versus Stipe is good. The argument is, well, why is this happening? Do I trust WME's stewardship? How could this go badly? Like, I just can't imagine a scenario where this goes off the rails. Wow, I can imagine a lot, especially under their leadership.
What up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. If you have not heard the show previously, we are an MMA podcast about MMA podcasts, and I'm spilling this fucking Sierra Nevada Porter all over. Each week, we let you know the MMA podcasts you should catch, the ones you should skip, and the ones you can't miss, as well as we try and take a look at a new show. And I am joined here with my co-host. Finally, it feels like forever since the last one.
Yeah, in the flesh, man. This is not a pre-recorded thing.
That's right. Chris Madaffer back in the building. What up, bruh?
Doing alright, man. Not too bad. Yeah, doing great.
Sweet, man. Yeah, we couldn't do it last week since I was in Vegas on last Friday.
I had forgotten. Well, I didn't actually forget. I forgot that we were recording on Wednesday, and I went to a concert.
That's right. So that's why we had our weird, fucked up episode last week that... it was a weird episode, especially with me splicing in Hunter S. Thompson shit, and it just got real weird. That weird Stipe Photoshop I did.
I saw the show, I thought that was hilarious.
It's fucking ridiculous. I got so bored at work.
I haven't listened to the episode.
Smart.
I'll check it out.
It's not bad. It's just like it's a lot of. I believe I ended the show with Hunter S. Thompson. I was drinking scotch for a lot of it. It's
See, that reminds me. I saw someone put a GIF. I don't know if I was on Reddit or Facebook, but it was of Hunter S. Thompson doing blow right when
that was me.
Or was that you on Twitter?
That was me on Twitter.
Oh, I see. I must have been high because I was going through Twitter. I was like, who posted this?
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's Chris.
No, I believe I said something about like, oh, it's fucking. A few things better than after a rough day at work, drinking scotch and watching Hunter S. Thompson docs. Yeah. Then I did the fucking. It had no correlation to what I was doing at all. It definitely had nothing to do with that. But it was it's been a weird week for me. I've been drunk, but surprisingly not as drunk as I thought I would have been in Vegas. Shouts out to Pizza Rock, which is fucking the best pizza I've probably had. It was really goddamn good. But we are not a food show or a drinking show, despite my best efforts. So we will go ahead and jump into format. There's been a bunch of good MMA podcasts since we've been gone. So why don't you start us off with the MMA podcast you recommend people catch from this week?
For me, it's going to be this week's episode of Submission Radio.
It was real good.
Haven't listened to Casper.
Well, so actually, I believe it was the end of last week is when they put that out. Yeah. Because I believe they were off this week, right? It's the one with Tyson Pedro and Ty.
Yeah, because obviously they're based out of Australia.
Right.
They're around.
And they took this week off because I forget they had something coming up. I believe they were going to Queensland, maybe.
Yeah, I only listened to a little bit of Tyson Pedro and Tai Tuivasa. Those guys are fucking hilarious together.
Super funny. For sure. Their podcast is great.
That is what made me pick this. But what also really made me pick this was the interview I listened to in its entirety, surprisingly, and I thought it was hilarious, was Colby Covington. Yeah. I know he's playing heel. I feel like this guy is kind of a funny dude in his own weird way. Even though the way he insults his haters, or the version, whatever he calls them, right? He goes about it in a very awkward and weird way that's obviously very forced contrived.
And pro wrestling is fuck.
Yes.
Which they talk about a lot about.
That's the whole stick, because he's admitted to Ariel, dude, it's all a facade. Like, if you're not smart enough to realize that, then have fun hating me.
Yeah, in that episode, he even brings up, like, I never even watched Star Wars. I just looked it up on Reddit and then posted it.
And I thought that was amazing that he said that. That is fucking hilarious.
Super funny.
Yeah, he talked about he was supposedly, or I guess I don't know. It's in their words. He was offered a tough contract versus Woodley and a fight against him on December 30th. But he said Woodley was talking about he wants to fight Nate Diaz, and then he was like weighing, am I going to do surgery? I remember when that was that episode 2, he talked to Ariel. And he's like, watch, Woodley's just going to do surgery and just want to do that instead. Why would you even say you're going to fight when you should realistically have surgery? Kind of a fair point in a way. I'd rather just get surgery and not want to
like, Tyron, that's such a good matchup for Tyron.
No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like, the Nate Diaz fight, I don't say it wouldn't be an easy fight, but compared to a lot of the killers of welterweight, I think it would be.
Sound matchup-wise.
Isn't a welterweight.
Right. And Tyron's, like, huge compared to Nate.
Yeah, it would be... Wouldn't be fun for Nate Diaz. Colby said he's been training nonstop. They asked him about Usman. Said, I don't know who that is. Playing coy, all that bullshit. He thinks he would dominate Wonderboy with wrestling. I mean, he's not wrong as far as the wrestling goes. Don't know how he'd do against that counter-striking, though.
Even then,
knowing Colby, I feel like he'd be cocky enough to try to stand and bang.
True. But, like, Johnny Hendricks didn't do great against Wonderboy in wrestling.
That's
and
true.
Johnny Hendricks...
Yeah.
Is a fucking high level wrestler, and the problem is
so
when you try and pressure, when you try and pressure Wonder Boy, that's when he is the best. Is when he's fucking
because even adept strikers such as Masvidal had success late in that fight.
Yeah,
but he got knocked down a couple times too when tried to pressure it in.
Yeah, you can't just walk you can't do what he did to Damian Maia to Wonder Boy, or else he will get bodied with the quickness.
Oh, he'd probably get knocked the fuck out. Not knocked fuck, but he'd probably get finished. No, I think Wonderboy would kick him into oblivion.
I mean, it'd be a rough fight for Colby because he's real green on the feet compared to a lot of that division.
He says he wants to embrace the boomerang incident and print shirts and sell them. Why not? Because that's really how you kind of just get people to stop talking about it. That's what TJ did. No one. I mean, there's some people that'll still do the little snake emoji. You're calling a snake, but it doesn't matter though because it's not effective anymore. And he doesn't care. He embraces that shit.
True, but Colby is just going full pro wrestling. He even said in the interview, he's wrestling at WrestlePro this weekend, which is streaming on
Impact,
Twitch.
Right? Impact Wrestling is something like that.
Something like that.
Just bought a house in Fort Lauderdale. Good luck with the clearly they'll have good insurance because of hurricanes and how Florida goes.
You would hope.
He's been busy with Impact Pro Wrestling and then the Reddit thing I did. And
his love of Texas Hold'em I thought was hilarious.
And I put that. Yeah, he loves to play poker and says he's won quite a bit of money. So I give him credit there, dude. Like every time I play poker for money, I fuck up. Every time I play for free, I do great because there's no risk. So I have to be able to, encapsulate that ability into you have to be able to have that kind of not have that pressure in the back of your mind when you're playing for real money. So and anyone really who wins money can do that.
Yeah, I don't like playing serious poker like that. Like I like to drink too much to play that kind of poker.
And that's how it is for me too. I've been drunk before.
I like playing with like fucking the homie Will Trevor and you and like Blake or shit. Like we used to do that all the time and fucking. That's the kind of game I can do where I'm like, I got $20 in this and I'm getting hammered anyway. So
yeah, dude, I remember when I don't even know if it's still a thing. Dude, I used to play Facebook poker all the time.
Oh, there you go.
Because, it's not real money, and it was fun. But you get those shitheads who play all the time. They have their little coins saved up, and for no reason they'd be like, "Fuck you, all in." I'm like, before you leave in the river flop, say, "How do we play, asshole? Like, can we kick you from the game?" You know what I mean? There's always people like that, but
for sure. But yeah, that solid episode from them. I really liked it for sure. Ty and Tyson Pedro were good. They're not as good over the phone
than they are together.
Yeah, right? Their episodes of their podcast are way more coherent. Plus, they're not good with like leading questions. They're good when they can just like talk shit. Like, I feel like you put them in a bar and they immediately get better, or like a shed or somewhere weird, But yeah, really solid episode for sure. Also, we should shout out our artwork for this week, since I just noticed a notification that Demetrius Johnson is streaming on Twitch the return of Moist Big Daddy Johnson, his EA UFC 3 character that he created, which is our artwork for this week. And oh boy, is that dude a thing.
One question to ask you, do you think they'll bring... is Game Face a thing anymore?
Yes. So,
and is it improved?
Still sucks.
God,
it's the exact same thing.
Isn't it sad that a fucking 7 or 8-year-old game, Fight Night Champion, when it came out, has better game face. Like, oh my god.
But the good news is it'll automatically import your old stuff, at least. So you don't have to fuck with it again.
But if I were to do it now, because generally when you have facial hair like me and you, it doesn't work out well, right? Because doesn't it fuck up the rendering?
It depends. Like, mine actually turned out not too bad. Yours turned out kind of fucked up.
I looked like I had a fucking dirty Sanchez.
I looked real fat, like fatter than normal.
Well, because, dude, I just remember each time I either look like I belong in the Jersey Shore with a spray tan, or I look like a vampire. So
my favorite example is...
I think what you have to do is you have to fuck with the saturation in your photo. Because I think someone said that. But yeah, because I'd want to do that. Because remember I told you, I did that on Fight Night Champion, dude. Like, fucking did all my friends. Like, I was like, dude, just send me, like, a portrait. Yeah. And I literally all our friends. I was like, this is awesome, you know. It's like
hilarious.
Fucking bare-knuckle brawling each other, you know. You're fighting Nicolas Cage. Some ridiculous shit.
For real. Yeah, it's never been good. The worst one I've ever seen was EA UFC 2. If you look at the giant bomb quick look, Jeff Gerstmann looks like a fucking alien in that quick look. It's horrific. Maybe I'll show Chris on the break, but oh man, is it bad looking. But luckily in the new one, he put a beard on it, and it looks a lot better. So just the whole chin to neck ratio of that picture is real fucked up. So I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, DJ's been streaming that. Jens Pulver actually also streamed the EA UFC 3 game.
Okay.
He streamed a tournament that someone was doing. So that's supposed to be great. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but highly recommend those. But anyway, I will get on to my catch for this week. Sorry about that. And I actually have two, one of which we just mentioned. The guys from the Halfcast podcast, Tyson Pedro and Taito Ivasa, had John Wayne Parr on for episode number 5.
Kickboxer, right?
Muay Thai fighter.
Muay Thai. Oh, I'm thinking of Joe Schilling.
Yeah, exactly. Both been on Rogan's podcast.
That's
I'm
why
sure you've heard him.
Yeah, I always get them mixed up.
Yeah, John Wayne Parr's the guy who's had all the scars. Like, he's had like 300 plus scars that he's had stitched up.
Surgeries or just from
No, from fighting, from elbows and Muay Thai.
Oh, wow.
There's a crazy picture if you look it up.
So does he just have a bunch of scar tissue too?
Yeah, well, pull up a... No, it's not that bad, but pull up a picture. Just Google John Wayne Parr scar.
See, okay, what throws me off, since he has 3 names, well, I don't know if Wayne's his middle name or like someone's maiden name or whatever, I just always think of John Wayne Gacy, the serial killer. It just makes me uncomfortable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just
he's like the
John Wayne
extremely opposite of that dude. Yeah. He's super nice.
But you know what I'm talking about? Like, clearly his parents were John Wayne fans.
Oh, yeah. I'm guessing the actor, not the serial killer.
Yes,
though.
Clearly the actor. Oh, wow, yeah, he has a lot of... It looks like there's... You can't really tell.
There should be a picture if you look up... maybe add Rogan to it. Someone did I think Rogan posted on his Instagram. There's one where someone photoshopped all the scars on his face at the same time from all the ones he's had.
Oh, let me see.
And that's a fucking crazy picture. If you add Rogan to it, it might show up. Anyway, so they recorded the episode, Ty and Tyson did, with John Wayne Parr at the Gasoline Alley, which is evidently an Australian Harley dealership that like hooks him up. I believe they also sponsor John Wayne Parr's Muay Thai. I guess it's an organization that he does in a cage in Australia. Have you heard about this? He has Muay Thai in a cage, but with MMA gloves.
Huh. I haven't heard of it, but it sounds interesting.
It's pretty cool, actually. So they talk a bit about that. They talk a bit about John Wayne Parr's only MMA fight, which was against a dude named Tony Bonello, who's 100 pounds heavier than him, and who also, I guess they talked about it on the previous show with Mark Hunt, too, which is pretty funny. And they mentioned a bunch of times, they bring up Tyson Pedro's dad, who evidently was big in the Australian MMA scene out there.
Oh, cool.
Pretty interesting,
Actually, he's Australian, not New Zealand, right?
Yes, Tyson Pedro is Australian. Mark Hunt's New Zealand.
I think it's because their flyings are pretty similar.
Well, and also they both go to the Mark Hunt and Taito Ivasa train together.
Taito Ivasa, is he New Zealander or is he Australian?
I believe he's Australian, but I believe Whitaker is from New Zealand.
Because Whitaker was born there, but I think he moved to Australia when he was a kid, and it's basically You see why I was confused.
Yep, it's definitely a thing for sure.
They're all Polynesians. We all know that.
Yeah. And I think, was it on Submission Radio when they talked about how to tell the difference between someone from... No. Who talked about... I heard someone recently talk about...
Well, I did hear there is a very... We wouldn't be able to hear it because we don't have the ear for it, but there is a very subtle difference in the accent.
No, and you know what it was? It was Severe MMA. I believe they were the ones who talked
In my
about
opinion,
it.
if I were to guess what a kind of subtle instance would be in the accent, it would be like, say, you hear someone from Alabama compared to someone from, like, you know what I mean? Like another southern state. You know what I mean?
So, actually, that's hilarious because I remembered it totally was not Severe MMA. It was MMA Junkie when Jessica Rose Clark was on. She talked about the difference. Yes, and she talked about the difference in the way they say stuff. Like, it's a lot of, like, just either not pronouncing words, like, the end of words a little, like, slightly differently. I believe she said New Zealanders have a little bit more of a question mark at the end of sentences, which is, like, if I remember right. But she did a good breakdown of that, and she's hilarious on that show. Anyway, they just basically talk a lot about how Tyson Pedro's dad and... John Wayne Parr knew each other just from, like, the local scene. Like,
that's cool.
John Wayne Parr's dad... Tyson Pedro's dad reffed John Wayne Parr's only MMA fight kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
And I guess Tyson Pedro grew up, like, around this one organization in Australia. And, like, literally was the dude who would put the pin in the cage and all that stuff.
Oh, that's sick.
I didn't know all that about him, which I thought was pretty dope. Let's see. He also talks about John Wayne Parr talks about the Boakau fights and the Zambitas fight, which I'm sure I'm butchering at least half of those names. Living in Thailand back in the day. Just a bunch of cool talk about his past. One of their more legit interview kind of episodes, but they're still just joking around and talking shit the entire time. And then Tyson Pedro says he's been talking to Whitaker. They're going to have Whitaker on the podcast soon. Which is fucking awesome. Get ready for a podcast of the goddamn year. That is an early contender for podcast of the year. And he said it's actually going to be pretty shortly. Like, I believe, what's-his-face, Ty goes on a trip. Or Ty's going somewhere. Probably to go out and train with Mark or something for a bit, I would assume. I don't remember. Because this was recorded, I believe... a week or two ago, because it was recorded the same day as the Mark Hunt one and another one they did in Queensland, from what I understand. But cool episode overall, and just really interesting. Oh, also they did mention that Whitaker used to train with GSP back at TriStar in the day, which I did not know.
I think maybe I saw something on Reddit, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I thought that was awesome. I actually have a second catch, but I'll be real brief with it. MMA Vivisection for UFC Belem. We listened to a little bit of it. I just wanted to shout out this show because it's fucking great, and they're the only ones who do the amount of tape study they do. Like them and Jack Slack and like maybe Luke Thomas, depending on the fight. But they had a lot of... It's just a solid breakdown of the card in a way that like you're not going to get from pretty much anyone else. They talk about Maya Stevenson's sketchy record. Talking about Marlon Vera being a solid deal at minus 145 right now on Best Fight Odds when I looked it up right before we recorded. So I feel like minus 145 is a solid deal for that. They did compare Golm to the next Junior Albini. And Connor did say that Timothy Johnson is going to run his garbage truck into the Golm hype train. So that was pretty fucking great. But overall, just a solid episode, and they do fantastic breakdowns. Connor Rebush and Zane Simon. And we will talk more about them maybe in a bit. But why don't you get us into your skip for this week? Eugene S. Robinson style disclaimer.
Well,
first off, just because we're saying skip your podcast does not mean we're not saying that you should forever unsubscribe and it's the worst thing ever. We're just saying this episode was fucking rough for a myriad of reasons that we were going to give out.
You like how I actually mentioned it myself because I was recording by myself.
No, you did great. Also, we figured out this... since you haven't listened last week, we figured out that you are way better at introing fights than me. So you are going to intro all of them, and then we'll talk about them on the breakdown.
As far as just like say who's going.
Yeah.
Maybe what I'll have to do during the break is you can play back some of my recording again. I'll listen to last week's podcast because I haven't even listened to it.
There we go.
We'll figure it out. Either way, so skip of the week, and this is when I put my notes. I swear to God, this is fucked up. Okay, some disrespect to this podcast, and you probably have a good idea who this is. I literally put, need something to skip for my boy Wes. So, the skip of the week, the MMA analysis. Why am I skipping this? Well, I put first, maybe this will be good. Well,
you were hoping it would there. They made a turnaround.
I'll be fair. In the beginning, they did discuss the 226 main event, which for those who've been living under a fucking rock, Stipe Miocic, the defending reigning heavyweight champion, will be fighting Daniel Cormier.
Oh, I forgot he hates Daniel Cormier.
He doesn't like DC. Doesn't like him at all.
This is the redneck that hates DC,
This
right?
is why part of my skip.
Oh, this is great. Keep going.
Don't have any quotes for it because a lot of it is ridiculous. Just give it a listen. This is the thing. Skip with an asterisk. Please listen to the first 15 minutes. I'll give you that. That's all I'm gonna say. They're like, here, I'll impersonate him. So guys, that's a great main event. What about the co-main event? It's gonna be TJ versus DJ. I mean, we got TJ. I don't even know if he can even make weight. Versus Mighty Mouse, who's number 1 pound for pound. I mean, guy, all around is a good fight.
How do you give DJ pound for pound, but then also hate DC?
I know.
That is not the same person.
And then he was like, well, guys, it's going to be a small issue if DC wins a belt and then vacates. It'll be I don't even say it'll be an issue, really. It's just...
Yeah. Oh, I've got a plan.
They'll just give Stipe another shot. Like, they will. There's no way they won't. But, okay, now you have a chance to get your belt back. Sorry you lost. And literally, Stipe wouldn't even mad. He's like, all right. He'll just put, thanks.
Yeah, well, except it'll hurt his pay.
It'll hurt, he won't get the 4th title in a row. I get that.
Well, no, and his pay.
Yeah.
He won't have that champ money going in.
Yeah. Okay. This is where it didn't make me mad. They have a small point. He literally said this. There are no clear contenders in the 2 worst divisions in the UFC, bar none. Light heavyweight and heavyweight. So these are the 2 worst. First of all, I wouldn't call them worst because that's fucked up. Well, don't give it. No, I know what he's. Listen. What's valid is a light heavyweight. Yes, a very shallow division, 100%. Even with Jones, I don't give a fuck how roided he is.
Yeah.
Very shallow division. Heavyweight, no. I think it's a little bullshit. It's just most of the heavyweight contenders are consistent more so than the other divisions.
Yeah, that's true.
And heavyweight fighters are tending to be older. Hence DC saying he wants to retire by... Well, I already classified him as a heavyweight fighter. But see what I mean? There's my point, though. Yeah. He's fucking older.
Undefeated at heavyweight.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think the way he phrased it is kind of a little insulting. The one thing that kind of... I don't want to say made me mad, because it does make sense based on how Tough has been perceived. Mm-hmm. He says they think Tough will be uninteresting and boring. I think that's bullshit based on the 2 coaches. I'm not going to say uninteresting. Boring... That depends on how the fights go, clearly, because that's why people watch. That's all, I agree.
No, the problem is that's not why people watch. People watch for Julian Lane and fucking Jesse Taylor.
Bang, bro. Yeah, and hanging with the boys.
Yeah, hanging with the boys. To be fair, I watch for hanging with the boys. Yeah, that's still my favorite fucking Tough moment ever. Hanging with the boys and the spritzing
last seasons was solid. I didn't watch it all. Even though my cousin was on it.
I saw all of it. Yeah. I thought the 125 season was great. No one watched it but me.
Coaches are fantastic. Yeah. Alvarez is a great coach. So is Gaethje. Those guys are great. And no malice between each other, which is cool.
And there was awesome fights during that season. Like there was a lot of finishes.
Who was it? Oh, who was it? Deanna Bennett. Oh man, she got head kicked to death.
By Sajara, fucking blasted by Sajara. Yeah.
But after that, they kind of lost me for like, dude, they talked for like 20 fucking actually 20 minutes. TV package deals with the Ultimate Fighter and what's Fox doing right now. They got like Thursday Night Football now and spending $500 million and that thing. So how's that going to affect? I get it, valid points, but they kind of lost me a little bit. The one thing that I was like, what are you talking about? They got your boy Wes was like, he's like,
I thought my boy was Eric Anders.
He's our boy
He's your boy.
Sure.
It's literally his nickname.
Oh yeah, God, that's right. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and by the way, it's been decided. I believe if you look it up on the T-shirt that I don't know if I favorited that or what. I believe it's YABOI is the official spelling.
Please be true. That's amazing. No, it's true. It's the best way to spell boy.
It's also been debated hotly on Twitter. Because Sherdog has it one way and Tapology and Wikipedia have it a different way. But I believe the shirt spelling that he tweeted out was YABOI. Fucking
Anyways,
hilarious.
the thing where Wes, whatever, he's basically like one of the main guys. He has like the most input and that kind of thing. He literally said, he's like, well, you know, when you're comparing Bellator to UFC when it comes to the cable cards, Bellator is pretty much just pure shit. He's like, what do you got, Michael Chandler fighting some nobody, some jobber.
Koichi Yamauchi's not a jobber. What the fuck?
And I like your wrestling term, jobber. Sure. Yeah, going back to the old wrestling.
Well, I mean,
jobber.
he is from the South.
Yeah.
Was he in Kentucky or something like that?
His accent sounds like it could be part of Texas.
I want to say it was Kentucky.
It sounds a little Texan.
Because he talked about it in the episode I listened to.
Oh, no. It's not Texas, because Texas isn't that much of a draw. I think he's from fucking Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, it might be something like that.
Yeah.
He does have a little Jason Knight to him, for sure.
Yeah. Fucking Brett Favre. But yeah, he basically was just shitting on Bellator. It's like, come on, dude. Like, I know, like, I know when everyone's listening to me now, I'm not hating on the MMA analysis. They do bring up very good points. I'm telling you right now. Like, they have.
And it seems like they talk about solid topics. Like the Fox stuff, not a lot of people are covering.
It was a skip for me because some of the stuff, when they're outlandish, it's just a little too much, man. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, hating on DC when he's fighting for the title.
That's also, it's hard to listen to anyone hate on DC.
Bellator just because it's Bellator. It's like, fuck, you know.
Yeah, that is some casual-ass opinions.
It wasn't a bad episode. They just lost me with the TV talk and everything. And
well, you know what? That actually segues well into my skip, the podcast I think people should skip. There's actually 3 of them this week.
You have 3 skips?
I have 3 skips, and they're all mostly because of casual-ass opinions from the hosts. I will start with the MMA Hour episode... Oh, God. Why is someone calling me? That doesn't happen. MMA Hour. I totally lied to you right now. I just lied. Although you could probably skip MMA Hour. It was alright. But Hammer MMA, episode 387.
I haven't listened to them in a while.
Hammer MMA is generally a pretty okay show.
Yeah.
However, wow, did they shit on a lot of people in this episode. They super shit on Maya Stevenson and Joe Soto in a way that makes it kind of clear they don't know what they're talking about.
Is it one of the things where, like, who do you got in this fight? I don't care. I just don't like this guy. He's condescending.
They said the entire female 125er season of Tough was shit.
That's fucked up.
Just because they didn't watch any of it.
That's fucked. That's just bullshit. It's just pure ignorance.
They also keep talking about how bad Joe Soto's ground game is, despite him being a solid submission wrestler. He's been in EBI. He's really high level. He just got caught with a calf slicer by a dude who's also very high level.
That's like me going like this.
It's weird.
TJ Dillashaw striking isn't as good as it should be because he couldn't hit Dominic Cruz.
Right. And then, so they talk about the Jacare versus Brunson card, and a lot of it, they just seem to not know who anyone is, which is insane because they are the fucking people on the panel to pick rankings.
Dude, don't they literally? Yeah, it's good. Don't they literally have high-profile people calling in? Like,
not only that, but like they also submit rankings. They're one of the official people to submit rankings.
Can you UFC. Please tell me that they were high or drunk?
No, they're real sober and Canadian. They're just really snarky in this episode. It's kind of annoying.
Man, they must have had a bad week at work.
Yeah, and then they argue whether they should scrap the the 125 and 145 women's divisions if they lose.
What?
Yeah. There's this will be an opportunity if they lose to scrap the 2 flyweight champion.
Yeah. And let's scrap the now super fight that's going to happen at 145. Yeah. Like, no.
Just a weird, insulting...
Like, I already have a feeling Kat Zingano's going to go up to featherweight full-time.
Kat Zingano will come up later in this episode.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Unfortunately, I didn't listen to that episode. I wanted to, but I didn't get around to it.
I don't even know if we're talking about the same thing. That'll be interesting.
Oh, actually, we're probably not talking about the same thing.
I didn't hear her talk on anything this week, so...
She was on Unfiltered. That's the one I didn't get.
Ooh, I didn't. No, I totally missed that. I have... R.I.P. Kat Zingano. It'll come up later. She's still alive, don't worry. Kind of. Alright, so my other skips. 5 rounds with Brett Okamoto. It's their Miocic Cormier confirmed episode.
Was Arda?
Oh boy, was it Arda. Remember how I said casual bullshit?
What did he do now? Wait. Was one of the first, 20 words spoken, not counting the intro, McGregor. Was McGregor Connor?
So...
in the first 20, or Mayweather?
I'll put it this way. It's my third note. Is talking about Arda is sold that Conor is going to return to fight Khabib. But The only reason that's even worse is because my second note is about a bunch of casual bullshit about Ronda fighting again, which she also thinks is going to happen.
Even though she literally just went on WWE Royal Rumble and said, guys, I'm home.
He's convinced she's going to take the Brock Lesnar route and come back and fight every once in a while. He also...
This is it. Even though she won't listen, because I'm not a fan, you know, but if I tweeted her and say, hey, can you switch camps, she would just say, okay, well, fuck you. Then I'd be like, okay, if you literally switch camps and went to an actual camp, then yeah, please come back, please.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Please, you would be great. You would be great.
I've always said, fucking somebody send Ronda to fucking hang out with Rafael Cordero for a couple years. Jesus Christ, Rafael Cordero is great at turning grapplers into strikers.
Come down here. She wouldn't, because she wants to stay in LA, but even you come down here.
And she doesn't have the knees for Alliance's footwork.
Yeah, that is true.
And Kat Zingano's not having none of that bullshit.
That's a good point.
Okay, yeah, more dumb shit artist says. God, I just have notes saying he's really grating. I compared him to...
Grating and degrading?
Yeah, I said he sounds like a morning radio host who was told to talk about MMA having never watched a fight.
Oh, can I give you an example of who that is? Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
Fox.
No, it's also, it's all like that. Here's some fucking misty bullshit. Arda claims the Floyd and Conor rematch is going to happen, and his 5 rounds conspiracy theory... his hashtag 5 rounds conspiracy theory, as he called it, is that it's going to happen on the same day as the Triple G Canelo rematch.
They would never do that.
They would never do that. You're cutting your audience in half. Why would you do that?
Yeah, no.
It's terrible. Arda
What you do is you do it a week later.
Yeah, he just keeps coming with the most shock jock casual fan bullshit.
Yeah, I should text my friend Kevin, who works at ESPN. Hey, if you ever hear about a guy Arda, tell him he sucks to his face.
For real. I wrote down, because I 100% agree with this, Adam Carolla has more knowledgeable takes on MMA, and he doesn't watch MMA. Quite literally, it's rough. And then Perillo calls in, and Brett badgers him about Bisping not fighting in London. It's
dude, Bisping just got fucked up. Why else do you think? I almost would put money on it. Why aren't you fighting in London? Because the doctors told me it's not a good idea.
Well,
my wife
his
told
wife
me
and his coach, Jason Perillo.
My wife literally said, don't fight.
Yeah.
My son probably said, Dad, can you not fight? All right.
Yeah, so...
I think he's just going to retire, and that's what I would do. I mean, at this point,
he's earned it, dude. He has nothing to prove. But yeah, just an annoying episode. Man, fucking Arda. That's the theme of all my skips this week, is there's one casual fan fucking host who doesn't actually follow the sport and just pretends they just parrot whatever they've heard on the other two podcasts. Whatever Ariel said, they just parrot. Or Dana.
It's just a shame. It'd be like the equivalent if we brought a friend of ours who has only maybe watched a couple events with us, but then if you ask him oh, who's the greatest, featherweight champion of all time, McGregor, because he gets...
For sure. Well, and we've even brought on casual fans who barely follow the sport, who have picked fights. Shouts out to Trevor, who fucking went 5 for 5 on whatever card that was. But also he clearly admits that he's casual as fuck about the sport. What I hate is they pretend... Speaking of my next skip, UFC Unfiltered, episode 166, one of the hosts pretends like they follow the sport and just constantly sound like they're talking about fights they haven't actually seen.
Which one was this? Because I listened to the Stipe one.
This was the Stipe one.
Okay, I'll let you go ahead and describe it, and I'll probably agree with you 100%.
I mean, they open talking a lot about Conor, shocking, and whether he'll fight the winner of Tony Khabib.
Oh yeah, because they're everyone's looking past Tony. Tony's dangerous off his back, but his fight against Lee is concerning. When will he have to deal with a much better grappler than Khabib, right? So is that Jim you're talking about?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, Jim Norton is being a casual fuck who doesn't actually watch any of the fights.
Yeah.
Also, Jimmy Norton complains that the fighters shouldn't be smoking weed because they know it's illegal and against the rules, bro. You shouldn't be smoking. That's dumb.
Yeah, but maybe the fact, bro, that weed goes out of your system really fast.
Matt's sitting there being like, yo, also... You don't know that she didn't smoke after the fight, not before the fight. And who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck if you're high during a fight? Matt Serra doesn't give a fuck, and Matt Serra doesn't smoke weed. Yeah,
that probably actually puts you at a disadvantage. I'd rather be sober if I'm in a fight.
Unless you're a Diaz brother, it doesn't help. If you're a Diaz brother, it lets you...
Diaz and fucking Nate was only, smoking CBD? I don't even think he had THC.
No, I meant more specifically Nate Diaz when he was high as balls when he fought Takanori Gomi in Pride.
Or Nick.
Nick, sorry, did I say Nate?
See, everyone does the same goddamn name.
Well, yeah, it's because you said Nate 10 seconds earlier.
God, why couldn't they have just had like a N sounding name too, like Nick and fucking Greg?
Nick and Greg Diaz.
Greg's not good.
Greg Diaz versus Conor McGregor, part 3. Everyone's so excited. Oh god.
Better than Larry.
Pretty sure I went to school with Larry Diaz. Oh man.
Roger.
Yeah, Joey.
Roger Diaz.
Just have him be Joey. Fuck it.
Carl.
Yeah, there you go. Jesus Christ, Felipe Diaz. All right.
Antonio.
Yeah. So also, Jimmy complains a lot that Kane didn't want to do their show. He's like, well, that's why guys like Kane won't be popular because they don't like to talk. It's like, bro, where were you when Kane was like king of the fucking world a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Also, everyone still likes Kane.
Did fucking Tough Latin America season 1, and I was still that out of all the Ultimate Fight. That's one of the best seasons ever. They had Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah.
They had Gabriel Benitez, Mowgli Benitez. Dude, they had so many good fighters on there.
For sure.
Fucking
Also,
Marlon Chito Vera, dude. They had so many good fighters. Like holy fuck.
Also,
such a great season.
The only reason Jim says that is because he wasn't working for the UFC back then, so he didn't watch the fucking sport. So he doesn't really know who Kane is. All he knows about Kane is he got beat up by Verdum in Mexico. That's all he knows. And he fought Brock once. So, Kane fought Brock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, beat the shit out of him. Okay. The fucking heavyweights. I feel like at a certain point I worry. I assume they've all fought each other 18 times by now, it's just Jim Norton over and over again being casual as fuck about shit. They talk about the Brunson versus Jacare card, and it sounds like he's talking about it without having watched any of it. Like he just says,
I know
he talks
you're right.
in a way where it's so vague, and he's just repeating back what Matt says in a way that you're like, I don't know that you watched this. Like, he keeps saying there's a bunch of bad decisions. There's a bunch of 30-27s that shouldn't have been given out.
The judging was suspect, especially
any of the fights where that was actually the case.
Especially in the Bermudez versus Feely fight.
No, he couldn't name that fight.
I think
Chris the producer brought it up.
Yeah, Chris the producer's always saving his ass.
He always is
Shouts out, by the way, to Chris producer. He is always fucking... he's always consistent.
He's also the only reason anyone pronounces anything correctly on that show.
Yeah, I remember, he's like, actually, it's,
Yeah, he always fixes it. Jimmy at one point asked what the difference between his solar plexus and the liver is.
Oh, yeah, because I remember he's like...
doesn't know?
He asked Stipe, he's like, can you punch him in the solar plexus, or I mean the liver? And then Stipe...
No, and he was just, talking about the Mirsad Bektic finish. He's like, I heard Dom Cruz say it was the liver, but I thought it was the... it looked like the solar plexus. What's the difference between... Is the liver on the right side? Where's the... He's like, what are we doing?
Basic anatomy?
Yeah. Jim just keeps fucking going back to the fucking 30-27s despite not knowing which fights were 30-27s.
Oh, I think he kept spamming it. Who was it? Didn't a judge give it 30-27 Bermudez, and that's what he's explaining?
Yeah, but he couldn't remember that was the fight that it happened on.
Yeah.
Also, Drew Dober, he finally figured out there was a 30-27 in that was weird also.
Oh, well, he just kept shitting on Dom Cruz. He's like, I don't like Dom Cruz.
That was Matt, yeah.
That was Matt. Yeah, Matt doesn't like Dom Cruz, a commentator. He's like, oh, he's too biased.
Matt's hyped on Drew Dober's ability to work off his back, too. He's really high on Drew Dober. So that could be part of it also. And then, Stipe calls in. But super skippable episode. Just because Jim Norton didn't put the time in to have any actual research thoughts on that show. So why should you spend the time to listen to it?
Maybe he was hungover, I don't know.
He doesn't drink. He's sober.
Oh, well, excuse me for being a piece of shit right there.
He could be hungover from doing nefarious things that made his eye red during the episode. Because if I remember right, he had some kind of fucked up eye. Anyway, we will go ahead and get past that. Chris, why don't you get us into the episode you think people can't miss this week?
For me, it was co-main event. Oh, excuse me. Let me speak louder. Co-main event is my can't miss of this week.
Sweet.
I'll get to the reason why. First of all, as a lot of people discussed, they talked about Ronda Rousey. And of course, I love how they opened up. Has she been training at the WWE Training Center? And will she be ready for top performances against such killers in the WWE? They said Vince McMahon is bringing back the XFL. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the thing. XFL,
Worked out great the first time.
I'm a little younger than you. Just probably, 2 years, right? I was like...
I'm still young for the XFL.
Yeah, we're still pretty young.
I'm also an adult who doesn't watch fake sports. So.
I was 10 years old when the XFL debuted, and of course it failed utterly. I do remember one game I watched. It wasn't the first game where they fucking had the broadcast cut off for 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, that's the good one.
I do remember another game where I remember the scramble, and I was like to my uncle who watched film, where's the coin toss? And these two assholes... no, let's throw a football in the middle of the field and have you run. And I remember this guy almost broke his fucking leg because he tripped and fell next to his opponent. That's ridiculous. Oh, wait, no fair catch interference? That's how you get CTE. So, in my opinion, the fact that I hear Vince McMahon bring back the XFL, I saw the ESPN thing. It was 2.5 minutes long. He's like, by the way, there'll be no politics in the sport. You have to stand for the anthem, first of all. That's political, so that's contradiction.
Also, he loves fucking Donald Trump. So
he loves Donald Trump.
How many WrestleManias have happened to Trump?
Another thing you said is, every player can't have a felony or criminal background or whatever. I get that.
I don't buy that at all.
I don't buy that at all.
No way
Johnny
is that
Manziel is going to be face the XFL, even though he actually assaulted his ex-girlfriend. But that's besides the point. So, moving on. The XFL's coming back. Should we be excited? No. If you're a WWE fan, sure. Do your thing. So they talked about that they're shooting XFL for good reason. There'll be 8 teams, blah, 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 blah. It's either going to be very entertaining and a hilarious way where you get high or drunk. Fuck yeah. Maybe you watch that and get some entertainment out of that.
Oh, there'll definitely be some good drinking games that'll come out of XFL.
Oh, and the one thing that'll be fun is for any big NFL fans, all the cast-offs, I don't want to say losers, but cast-offs that couldn't make it in the NFL or got blackballed by the NFL, aka Colin Kaepernick, sorry, even though you're actually doing it for good cause, that's my political rant right there. There might be some decent stuff to watch in the XFL for cast-offs and people who got blackballed. Who knows? Either way, I have no hope for the XFL. It'll probably fail miserably again.
Yeah.
Don't know who's actually even helping them fund this.
He has fuck you money at this point, but...
I was going to say, it's probably in his own pocket.
Yeah.
Fuck you money.
I'm sure he has some... very, very white old man.
But basically, Chad and Ben were really discussing, should we be excited? Who knows? So, sorry, I know it's not MMA, but it's I kind of had to mention that because they tied it with the Ronda Rousey.
It is a big thing, yeah, and it's literally the CTE league, Vince is there's nothing. It's literally head trauma of the game.
If you like watching people get fucked up, you'll love it.
Which, by the way, is how Vince makes a living. It's not any different than pro wrestling. It's not pro wrestling.
Someone on YouTube commented.
Someone cue the gif of Ken Shamrock getting hit in the face with a chair 1,400 times by The Rock.
Well, I remember someone said, looking at his press conference, it looks like Vince is already suffering from CTE. His face has had a stroke.
I'm sure.
They're kind of on point.
Also, all the plastic surgery doesn't help the face
They literally made him look 85.
Yeah.
They said, if DC beats Stipe, his legacy is changed for the better because there's no more doubt about Jones.
I agree in part.
His haters will still care.
Yeah, but
haters...
But it'll cement him as one of the best ever,
of course,
for sure.
Dana White is adamant about GSP is not coming back because it was all a financial move. I gotta agree there. I don't really see why he needs to come back at this point. I don't think he gives a shit.
He doesn't give a shit.
He proved the point. He became a fucking champion at 185.
Yeah, he's also dealing with serious stomach issues and shit. Yeah.
So. They said the MMA gods have blessed us with Miocic versus Cormier. Yes, they have.
Which means we're cursed.
For whatever the call main is, not what TJD.
No, I just mean what are the odds Kane / DC both injure each other during the fucking Ultimate Fighter? Yeah. Something terrible.
They talked about Kane's tweet. They said doubtful he would fight DC. Yeah, I don't see it ever happening unless it's for bajillions of dollars.
That'll never happen.
And the reason why this is can't miss was Mashup Tweet Theater was hilarious. I loved the Friskies Explode fake ad about your pet cats being on steroids.
Master Tweet Theater was on fire this week.
Yeah, some of those tweets, who was it? God, I should have written it down, but it was great. And in this episode, remember we keep talking about Chad's accent keeps slipping and he makes it more noticeable. This is one episode. It's dude, it's clearly you.
I think it's Chad.
It's literally you.
Yeah,
at one point, he didn't even make the accent, and then he was like, "Oh shit,"
but I'm still not convinced it's Chad.
We're still not convinced because of the intro. Remember, the intro. It's a different guy. It's a different guy.
I know.
It's so weird.
It's definitely.
But no, it's definitely. I would honestly bet a comfortable $50 that it's Chad Dundas. Right now.
I never want to know. I really never want to know.
Yeah.
I like it.
But it has to be him because they never cross-argue. Or cross-talk, yeah.
That's the thing. They never cross-talk.
And it literally sounds just like him when he slips his accent. Like, it's him.
And I know the bit is that they share a mic because you always hear Chad lean in off mic.
Yeah, and he leans back.
But like, it feels like it's so consistent in a way that they never cross-talk.
But see, if they're genius, though, it's his friend, and he purposely tries to not... Like,
that's what I would
do.
About. Yeah.
I'd have it where, like, you'd make it seem like, oh, it's just you, but it's not.
No, that's my conspiracy theory, for sure, because it's the same conspiracy theory I have about the person that everyone thinks is Megan Anderson posting as a fan of herself on the Underground. There's this account on the Underground that always like slips.
Does it say like it's a fan or it's
no?
her?
So they always post about Megan Anderson stuff, and they every once in a while will slip into first person for like a part of a sentence.
That's hilarious.
But like I think it's someone pretending to be Megan Anderson, pretending to not be Megan Anderson. But it's like everyone's convinced it's Megan, and like it's this ongoing thing. Anyway, yeah, real dumb, but the Underground.
Yeah, that's why that was my. Can't miss.
That's a good can't miss. I thought it was fantastic, and I'm always a big fan of that show. I have 2 can't misses this week since we took some time off. I figured I'd throw a bunch of stuff out there, and one of my can't misses is actually technically a new show as well.
Oh, nice.
So we'll talk about that in a second. But first can't miss is Heavy Hands, episode 196 with Zane Simon. Whenever you heard, oh hey, they're having Zane Simon on Heavy Hands, you probably could have just written down that that's gonna be my can't miss.
It's like Vivisection again.
Exactly. It's the Heavy Hands Vivisection, quite literally. It's fantastic. They open talking about whether Joe Lozon's slow reflexes is negatively affecting his gaming, which I thought was hilarious on the intro. Zane Simon guessed the entire episode. They talk about all of Zane jokes about his fake doctorates after they intro Dr. Pat Wyman, obviously. Zane's like, oh, I have a doctorate in crystal healing, and he starts making shit up. It's pretty great. They do talk about the Anders versus Machida card, which we will, of course, get into, and talk about some of the lack of depth at women's flyweight and Shevchenko getting a straight-up showcase fight. Just really solid discussion on the fights and some of the style matchups. Talk a lot about Means versus Morales and how it's an interesting style matchup because they're both willing to throw it down, but they both... Moraes, sorry, I said Morales.
Moraes, yeah.
I wrote it down as Moraes. I know Sergio. I'm a big fan of Sergio Moraes. Still said Morales. It's exactly what you would expect it to be. If you've ever heard Heavy Hands and you've ever heard the MMA Vivisection, it's like they smashed those 2 shows together and made fun of Pat Wyman a little bit more, and it's just great. I'm really high on it. Some funny parts is Connor at one point does compare Frank Camacho to every fighter in EA UFC 3, but they just load up on 3 big shots and have to wait a minute for their stamina bar to go back up. And they talk about how people are straight up sleeping on Mirsad Bektik. Just a fucking solid episode. My other one, I'll go through quickly. The LT Cast, episode 1. Luke Thomas now has a Twitch channel, which is pretty cool, and he streamed the LT Cast episode 1, which is him watching the Brunson vs. Jacare card live, where he's streaming it on Twitch and on YouTube. It's fucking awesome. Chris, you listened to a bit of it with me. He's just hanging out drinking, talking shit. I don't know if you remember
one bit. He was discussing, probably for a good 5 to 10 minutes, his favorite metal group. His is, unfortunately, because I'm a big metalhead, I don't want to say I hate this band, I just don't dig the vocals. Dying Fetus.
He's big on Dying Fetus.
Black metal, right? Like if you heard Cannibal Corpse or Whitechapel, pretty much similar to that.
He also likes Cannibal Corpse,
which
for sure.
Which is hilarious, and probably Carnifex should have song. The guy's like, what the fuck? You know, that's...
right.
Which is oddly hilarious. But someone messaged him, Luke, very disappointed in you to see your taste in metal. And he literally just said, I could give a fuck less.
Yep. Fucking hilarious. Also, you guys heard on the intro a clip from this show where Luke shits on everyone who's for trusting WME, which I thought was amazing. He just lights the whole audience on fire for like, listen, donks, everyone wants to watch Stipe versus DC. No one's saying that fight's gonna suck balls, but don't trust WME to just know what the fuck they're doing. It's just hilarious. It's a lot of Luke struggling with Twitch and OBS. If you guys don't know OBS, it's like a
that just reminds me of casual fans. Next time I go to like Tap House, remember I told you the guy who infamously was adamant. Dude, Nate Diaz walks around at 2:15. I just want to be like, dude, I should be recording this guy, like, just secretly.
For
this
real.
guy's a fucking moron.
Maybe it's Skip Bayless in makeup. Or Shannon Sharp, I should say.
What was that interview? Was it last year? Remember that?
Who's Shannon Sharp? Oh, no, it's both of them. You're right, they both have done
it. But you need to do Dithu. There was that. But remember Skip said
something? It was
something?
On Ariel's show.
Remember Skip was talking?
It was on Ariel's show.
Yeah, but Skip was talking about something. And I was like, watch, he's going to mention Tim Tebow. He's going to mention Tebow. And he fucking mentioned Tim Tebow. I laughed my ass out. I can't remember what it was.
I think it was Ariel's show.
It was last summer. Whatever the big summer...
it was Floyd Connor.
Oh, must have been Floyd Connor. Yeah. It was his Wednesday show he had, or all those shows he had in a row. Yeah, that was fucking pure comedy.
Yeah, ridiculous. And yeah, so Luke, it's just Luke hanging out, drinking, watching the card. It's great. He's super high on Dom Cruz, and he keeps making fun of everyone who dislikes him. He's also drinking low quality vodka with some OJ bullshit we had in the house.
Low quality, as in unofficial sponsor of our podcast. Popov Vodka.
That's right. Also on a super official sponsor of Doug Stanhope's podcast, Popov Vodka. Big fan. Also shouts out to Scoresby's, which I've been drinking a lot of. That's a bad scotch. Luke talks about how it's mostly Luke struggling with Twitch and like talking to the chat and just bullshitting. During the actual fights, it's really good. It's a lot of technical analysis, but it's also a decent amount of just Luke kind of rattling off like his inner monologue out loud. I really enjoyed it though. And he's super high on Drew Dober in general. He was really high on Camacho's trips, but here's a quote. I feel like Drew Dober's legs are too thick with 2 C's to lock up a triangle.
2 C's. Oh my!
So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of you'll hear our second clip about Luke Thomas's feelings about Frank Camacho being a redneck in a hurricane. That's real good. It's really solid. Here's another quote. Luke says he'd rather get Ebola shot into his eyeballs than play EA UFC 3 on Twitch.
Oh,
yep, that's a quote. He says his taste in rap is only for songs with murders or crimes.
Jesus.
At one point, they're
so playing... on a Scarface.
Yeah.
Ghetto Boys.
No, yeah, literally. It's like shit like that, yeah. They're playing a clip of people working out in like the lead up to one of the fights, and he's like, "What are we watching here? We're just watching front squats. What's happening?" It's just he coins the term Smash Mouth Jiu-Jitsu, which I'm a big fan of.
Which literally is the coin pen from Smash Mouth Football.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Because I think he is a big NFL guy, or he used to be. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, he watches a decent amount of football.
Yeah. He's not going to be happy. He's from DC. I'm assuming he's a Skins fan. He's not going to be happy with the Alex Smith trade, but...
Yeah. Oh, at one point, he says he went to a Limp Bizkit and Mobb Deep concert.
Wait. First of all,
in the 90s?
How does Fred Durst convince Mobb Deep to tour?
That's what I was
That's what I wanted. That's an anomaly in itself. Am I right? All that meant is Mobb Deep needed money.
Oh,
and
for sure.
Was popular.
Yeah, or they were in a weird part of the country. One of the two, yeah. It was just it was a very weird episode, but it's really cool. Also, he does an old-timey finish of the Jacare fight.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, left hook, it's over.
Really loud.
Yeah. Fucking hilarious. Oh, man. I just thought it was great. It could have been my new show, but I liked it so much I wanted to use it as my catch. He says he's going to be doing more of them. He also says he might do one for the for WrestleMania, which he hates wrestling, so I imagine that's going to be fantastic.
It's just going to be him shitting on everyone.
It's shitting on everyone and then being like horrified when Ronda can't at all deliver lines and they start shining Holly home. It's going to be rough. So it was just a great episode. I highly recommend people subscribe to his or follow him on Twitch, since I don't think he has a subscription button yet, and or check it out on his YouTube. But really good, and I recommend checking it out. So did you listen to any new shows this week?
Fortunately, I did not.
That's all right, because I got 2 new shows.
Oh, yeah.
First off, I got Spaniard 101, which is the podcast hosted
Spaniard as in someone from Spain?
No, as in the Spaniard, Charlie Brenneman, the fighter.
Who's the fighter?
He's the dude who had the black fro. White dude, black fro, curly hair. Was known for getting... Towards the end of his career, he got blasted a couple times. But he's a super cool dude. He's a teacher out in, I want to say Ohio, but that's Rich Franklin. Right? Rich Franklin was Ohio? Is that right?
Like as far as like where the gym's based?
No, where he used to coach. Or where he used to be a teacher.
Like, are you talking about like University of Ohio? Like Ohio?
No. Like in the state.
Sorry, I'm confused.
I'm trying to remember. I forget where Charlie Brenneman's located out of. Anyway, point is he's a high school teacher out there.
I think that's Ohio because I think I've seen Garbrandt tag Brenneman. I think I've seen it.
It could be Brenneman's Ohio and Franklin is somewhere else.
Yeah, he's an Ohio guy.
Yeah,
Steve is an Ohio guy. There's a bunch of
Ohio it could be.
There's a lot of Ohio MMA guys.
That could be it for sure. I know he's in the Midwest somewhere. But anyway, on episode 157, he had Gorgeous George on from MMA Junkie. They open talking a lot about like dogs and weather and bullshit, and essentially Charlie Brenneman just goes through and has like interviews George about the entire process of how he started MMA Junkie Radio from beginning to end. So they do like an hour-long sit down on. Well, first off, they talk about weird massages and how George got into massages because he's recovering from his patella surgery. But they talk about how Tag Radio started with Frank Trigg after Ryan Bennett passed away. Gorgeous George talks about being into the show when Ryan Bennett was hosting it, and it was called MMA Weekly. Just a lot of like weird, in-depth background on how that show came to be. Like, Gorgeous George says he got into MMA Weekly, the radio show Ryan Bennett did, because he was just sitting there playing online poker all day. So he would just listen to that and call in and stuff. And eventually, after Ryan Bennett passed away, he talked to Frank Trigg, and they ended up doing a show together. Talks how he came to work with how he got with MMA Junkie via Dan Stupp, and Dan Stupp from MMA Junkie basically saved that show. He talks about the Mandalay Bay and how he came to start recording there. Just like a really good in-depth breakdown of how that show came about. And it makes Gorgeous George really likable. As much as I call those shows skips a lot because there's not a ton of MMA content on them sometimes. Like there's episodes like the Jessie Jess episode where she sits in and co-hosts the entire show. Fucking fantastic. But there's also shows where I have to hear 45 minutes at the top about Gorgeous George not being able to find his way around New York via walking. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I just really don't care. But overall, it was a great episode with Charlie Brenneman. He also hosts a podcast where he does a book review once a week. No, daily, sorry. He does daily book reviews, which is crazy. His podcast is like a short clip one that he does with that. So it seems like a solid show. I don't know that I'll subscribe to it. It's one of those ones I'd probably pick up depending on the MMA guest. He also just has a lot of like random people in, like professors or teachers and stuff like that. But pretty solid overall, and I definitely dug it. It's cool hearing all the history with Gorgeous George and MMA Junkie. Oh, and then my other MMA podcast that I had not listened to previously, Ragin MMA with Cajun Johnson.
Oh, that sounds neat.
Yeah, and it's the guest this week, Angela Hill.
Oh, hell yeah.
Or I guess technically last week.
Yeah.
So, fucking awesome. The hosts are Cajun Johnson and...
For his Cajun, is he a 45 or a 55, or he's like one of those?
He's got to be 55 because him and Al keep going back and forth.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, it's Cajun Johnson and his buddy Shaquille Majori, I'm going to say. They call him Shaq. And they open talking about his... I believe it's Cajun Johnson's American Hairless Terrier named Zen.
Like a naked dog? I don't even...
Hairless terrier. Yeah, it's like a hairless cat, but like it's a terrier.
I don't think I've ever heard of those or seen one.
They make fun of it a lot. It's supposed to look weird. Yeah, go ahead and look it up.
Like it could look... Well, hairless animal in general probably doesn't look good.
They always look weird and they always leave weird marks on your couch. Shouts out to fucking hairless cats. My buddy used to have one. Angie Hill calls in now, which is fantastic. Shaq says his favorite guests are always Angie and Olivier Aubin-Mercier because they're both into gaming, so you can just talk to them about gaming the whole time. So they talk a lot about that. Cajun says he hasn't played a video game since Mortal Kombat 2 on the Genesis when he was a kid.
There's no way. Maybe
Yeah. No, he says because he's too competitive and he doesn't like it. It's not fun.
So he just quit.
Yeah, basically.
He is like, fuck this.
Yeah, but Shaq did talk to Angie about some old fighting games that she was into.
This dog does look like it has hair, but maybe it's just the patterns.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But they also talked to Angie about the Kotaku article they put out about Angie playing XCOM 2, where...
How is that game? I've seen some dudes.
So XCOM's great. However, everyone always makes the mistake of creating people, like their friends in the game, and then immediately they die because that's how that game works. So,
is it like a real-time strategy game? Or something?
Yeah, it's like a very, very, very light RTS, yeah. Like, it's the most accessible RTS by far. It's like a really, really accessible version of Civ.
Okay.
But, like, more like strategy RTS.
Yeah,
it's like the most dumbed-down version of StarCraft you could have.
Oh, wow.
But it's all against the computer, and it's like... It's randomly generated, so it's like kind of roguelike-esque. Yeah. Whereas in like, they're not enemies aren't always going to populate at the same places. You're not always going to get the same maps, but it cycles through like a series of options for all those. But yeah, you're basically it's like you're in space killing aliens and because aliens are trying to take over. It's a solid game. Regardless of that, what was hilarious was. Angie Hill talks about how she created one of the first people she created was Kat Zingano, who R.I.P. Kat Zingano died during that game. She also lost a couple other Alliance fighters in XCOM 2 and it bummed her out, which is super funny. Tells a story about a dude offering to fly her out to beat him up for $1,000, like early in her Muay Thai career.
Wow.
Dude's like, I'll pay you $1,000 if you come beat me up. I'll fly you out and everything.
Kind of sounds almost more creepy than anything.
Oh, it was real creepy.
That
yeah.
Sounds creepy as
No, that's how they introed it. It's like, what's some of the weirdest offers you've gotten? They talk about how she used to work
in masochist.
Oh, for sure. No, yeah, that's what they were talking about. They talk about how she used to work in animation back in like 2008 and stuff. Her and her husband both. So that was pretty cool. And they talk about her dislike of Joanna and just like all the like bullshit antics. Also, you gotta realize Jessica Penne. Very good friend of Angela Hill, so I play a little bit.
She got her face rearranged.
She did bring up something that was hilarious, which is that Jessica Penne gave Joanna a ring at the weigh-ins, because of course Joanna looks like Gollum. Which I no one caught at the time, but that's funny. Like one of those subtle Angie Hill kind of jokes where you're like, you wrote that joke. It's like a certain Angela Magana. Photoshop post that evidently Angela Hill might have had something to do with, but just a funny episode. She's hilarious. She talks about Wayne cosplaying and Reebok shutting it down. Talked about the Tong Po weigh-ins and how she originally wanted to have a blood capsule in her mouth and like come out with like the fucking just be bleeding all over at the weigh-ins, but Reebok shut that shit down.
With the athletic commission.
Yeah, fucking hilarious though. Highly recommend it. That show was really short. It's like 22 minutes or something. I don't know how long their episodes normally are. I haven't listened to it previously, but I like it. I'll definitely subscribe again. I feel like it could be hit or miss, probably depending on the guest, but overall, a lot of fun. So, that's the main shows I wanted to talk about. Is there any other ones you wanted to cover?
Yeah, I'll briefly mention, I listened about, I think half of it was the MMA Vivisection.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, they like this card better than last week's. They said, I think they mentioned the lighter weight classes don't have too many interesting bouts aside from a couple. I know they mentioned a Marlon Chito Vera fight. They always love talking about him. He's an intriguing fighter.
Yep.
They said he's not the most athletic guy in there. He definitely has the athleticism enough to be able to change kind of what's going on. He could be able to change on a dime in a sense. And after they talked about Sergio Moraes' wild striking, They talk maybe he can utilize the wrestling grappling more against someone like Tim Means who struggled against Bilal Muhammad. Well, so there was this really I like their episode because it's very technical as far as style matchups go, and it made me really interested in some of these fights.
And the tape study they do is insane. Like they specifically go back and watch style match a couple of their fights on pretty much every single fighter's on the card, and they watch ones that are specifically with similar style matchups, or you can kind of MMA math your way into comparing how stuff might play out. Like they mentioned the Zach Cummins being able to, or Zach Cummings, no, Zach Otto, being able to hit the single leg to trip takedowns.
Yeah.
Which was something that Sergio was really good at against someone. I forget who.
I can't remember either.
I want to say that was the comparison. Anyway, there are a lot of very, very solid technical comparisons and breakdowns. That show is one of the best ways to get a wide variety of possible outcomes of a fight, because I feel like they do a really good job of covering not only what they think will happen, but potential ways that game plan won't play out because of certain things they see in the tape study. So I feel like them and Jack Slack and Luke Thomas do some of the best of that stuff. Cool, man. Yeah, I'll just shout out a couple that I heard. They were all really good, but just there's a lot of good episodes this week. Three Amigos 164 with Ali Quinta. Stephanie Crooklyn does a phoner with Al. They talk about his new deal. They do clarify that it's only a 4-fight deal. He said on MMA Hour it was a 1-fight deal, but the way he said it, he said, in my mind it's a 1-fight deal, in the UFC's mind it's a 1-fight deal, but he clarified it's really a 4-fight deal, but we're going to renegotiate after.
Is that the one
fight.
where he said he'd have to pay me $1 million to fight Khabib?
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I think he might have said that on Ariel's too, but yeah, he said something along those lines. He talks about the fake Ali Quinta Realty Twitter account, which is fucking hilarious, and he says he loves it. He's like, that guy is way funnier than me, and everyone thinks it's me, and it cracks me up every time somebody replies to him thinking it's me. It's the best. It's just great.
Like Coach Edmond.
Yeah. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious. Just a really funny episode with Al. Also, Three Amigos 165 was pretty great. Talk about the Roy Jones Jr. fight, Roy Jones Jr. card that's on Fight Pass next Friday. Roy Jones Jr. is boxing on Fight Pass for some reason.
Oh yeah, and it's his last fight ever.
Yeah. Also on that card, Charles Crazy Horse Bennett.
Felony
Bennett, you're right. And that is next Friday when we will be recording. So we might do a live commentary of Felony Bennett versus whatever dude he is fighting in a fucking random Fight Pass card that Roy Jones Jr. is on. That's a weird thing.
Dude, isn't Roy Jones Jr. almost 50?
49.
Wow.
Yeah, quite literally. Let's see. Also on that episode, they do cover WADA and their incident recently with the fact that if you freeze the containers they keep the piss in, you can open them. So there's a lot of piss icicle jokes and a lot of Lyoto Machida jokes.
Interesting.
Pretty good.
So instead of just drinking his piss, he can enjoy drinking his piss with a piss popsicle.
Exactly. It's a lot of that.
Wonderful.
Fights Gone By, episode 67 was good. It's just a big breakdown of the UFC Charlotte card in Bellator 193. Just Jack Slack giving his thoughts on it. Brunson getting clipped a bunch. He mentions one of my favorite stats of the weekend. He counted during the Kalen Chukagian fight, and just in the first round, Kalen Chukagian ki'd 102 times, but only landed 20 strikes, which is some Holly Holm levels of bullshit, as we saw in person, actually, when she fought Marion Renaud. Is that the right one? I always mix them up.
Not Mariah Moroz.
Marina Moroz. Yeah. Right. Both the Iron Lady. Nope. Jermaine Durant is there. Fucking, I always make this. You guys, I don't learn. Submission Radio.
No, more like the Iron Maybe, because she never fights.
There you go. Submission Radio, you said, which you talked about was great. Believe You Me 46, actually pretty good.
That was Luis.
He was Luis, but he wasn't like the worst. Bisping talks about the card from last weekend. Oh, Bisping was the one that gave a really good breakdown of how to properly block a head kick, where you have to use both hands rather than just blocking with the one hand against the head. You come up with the second hand behind.
Or an X, like
yeah,
that, right? Yeah,
right.
so you cover your ear and your temple.
Yeah, you cover behind, like kind of back and behind the ear. Just really solid breakdown by Bisping, which I thought was cool. Lewis at one point does admit that he doesn't know the difference between Andre Fili and Dennis Bermudez.
Wait, what?
He just doesn't know the difference between. He said
one is short and one is
right
not
during the
as
fight.
short.
He kept getting confused who was who. Is what he said. It was a solid episode though overall.
I hope he was baked out of his mind.
Oh, he definitely was. He's Lewis.
Then it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. His girlfriend's cool. Shout out to Kimberly Congdon. She's nice. I met her a couple times. DC also calls in on that episode, talking about the Stipe matchup, so that was pretty cool. And DC also jokes with Bisping about whether he's fighting in London. And evidently, Bisping was trying to get on that card, but the UFC shut it down.
Well, I would hope so.
Which he then tweeted out, like, I think a day after the podcast came out.
Which, by the way, what a bummer that Darren Till was supposed to be on the card but got sick.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
It was supposed to be against Gunnar Nelson, if I recall correctly.
Yep, that would have been fun. I heard they're gonna rebook that, but Gunnar Nelson's looking for a fight in the meantime.
Yeah.
Storytime with Uncle Creepy is back.
Oh.
The episode name is actually literally "And We're Back." And yeah, he talks basically about the Ryzen tourney and the cut that he got against the ropes / headbutt.
She was doing well in that fight.
Yeah, and he talked about Manel Cape being a giant dick all week and pissing everyone off. Like, evidently, a lot of people were looking for him, like, walking the streets and shit, trying to fuck him up.
Wait, like Japanese fans?
No, like 10th Planet dudes that are friends with
Ian.
With Ian and, like, also a bunch of other fighters, because he was doing it to everyone, not just Ian.
That's enough.
Severe MMA 148 was solid. MMA Heat was alright. Ariel's show was whatever. Ariel's show had moments, but Ariel spent way more time talking to Dave Meltzer about the WWE and sounded way more interested in that conversation than anything else on that episode, and it fucking bummed me out in a very real way. Like, that dude loves pro wrestling so much more than
see me right now.
Yeah,
that's when I listen to someone on a podcast talk about pro wrestling. I literally just fall asleep.
Yeah, no, there's only one pro wrestling podcast, and it's in that ass. It's the Laps Fan,
I remember you told me that. Yeah,
it's all up in that ass. Oh God.
Like that guy.
Yeah, like Tom Poe.
No, because remember that's
that's the dude from
this is
Chris is
Bloodsport.
pointing. Yeah,
Bloodsport. I always get that confused, and I always get the movie confused.
Chris is pointing.
Well, not really though, because that villain looks different.
Yeah, Chris is pointing.
That villain's Japanese. The other villain's Thai.
Yeah, Chris is pointing at the desktop on my computer, which is just a fucking random grip of screenshots from random bullshit. Overall, pretty good though. There was also MMA Roadshow 149 wasn't bad, and they did mention they're not going to be covering as many shows locally. Like MMA Junkie is not on the scene at UFC Belem or going to be at UFC Perth, which is kind of a big deal because normally they would do those, but
that's a bummer.
They're not. It sounds like they're not going to be traveling as much to cover those cards anymore. So. That's it for that. News, Fights Gone By is now going to be on twice a week, which is kind of cool. We talked about Luke Thomas's Twitch channel. Rogan did an episode with Joey Diaz, where at the beginning of it, they talked about how after the Rockhold fight, Joey's going to do a podcast with Yoel in subtitles in Spanish.
I heard about that.
And Yoel is going to come on with Rogan and Diaz and do a podcast for Rogan's show. So that should be cool.
Sounds great.
Some fight announcements. Aspen Ladd versus Leslie Smith is official for April 21st.
Cool.
So fucking hyped for that fight. That fight's going to be dope as hell. Also, Shoeface versus Tim Boach on April 14th, which should be awesome. I'm very high on Shoeface. I have already picked him up in fantasy. So, fucking suck it, y'all.
But yeah, congrats. Everybody, Chris won quarter 2.
That's right.
And remember how I lost guys by 3 points in quarter 1? I lost by 3 points again.
That's right. And I should clarify, I won in the quarter 2 in the Underground League.
Yep.
In the MMA Community League, I am getting fucking housed by Narak Nu, or however you say his fucking name. That dude has would have won both quarters by such a fucking high margin.
Oh, wow.
He's been in like the 70s to 180s.
Does he just
for
keep
both
switching
quarters.
out people? Or
Yeah, he's just
just
nailing his picks.
And just, yeah.
He's nailing his picks. It's fucking crazy. Dude is the best at that game. It's fucked up. And the only thing I heard is Big Nog tweeted out, Nogueira tweeted out that there's going to be a Tuesday Night Contender Series card in Brazil in the last half of 2018. Which is pretty fucking cool. I've been waiting to hear more news about that show, so that'll be interesting. And then the only other thing I wanted to bring up, EA UFC 3, of course, is out, which I'm going to be playing a fuckload of that this week. If you guys want, you can add me, Genghis Kron 710.
I mean, unless you're going to play pay to win scrubs.
True.
That's the only
I also need to get PS.
that game.
I also need to get PS Plus again, since I don't even fucking have a PS.
So you can actually play online.
Yeah. Which I may or may not do. Fucking, if it's anything like UFC 2, I don't want to get 1-2'd in the body to death.
Or wasn't it the knees that fuck you up too? Or spinning heel kicks?
Those used to be worse. They nerfed a lot of that. But the fucking 1-2 to the body problem, unless you just really liked parrying, was like a fucking thing.
Oh, like me.
Yeah, like you, asshole. That's why they took it out of this new game. All right. I fucking love it. But, I did want to bring up... Alright, so here's the two things. Two things that I think are going to happen with... Oh, God. I know one was about Stipe and DC. What was the other one I told you to remember?
You said hot take Stipe DC, and that was it. You just remember.
There was another one. Anyway, Stipe DC, what they're going to do, I think, if DC loses, 100% DC goes... Alright, I'm not a real heavyweight. However, my boy, Cain Velasquez, is about to be healthy, and he is a real heavyweight. He's going to come in and take this belt, well, it's rightfully his or wherever. So that way, Cain doesn't have to fight in the interim. Cain gets the immediate title shot, which is the entire thing they mentioned, like, since they think Cain's not going to get immediate title shot, if DC loses and then he pimps...
We'll just plug him in.
Yeah, he plugs fucking Cain, and Cain's like, I'm ready to go, blah, blah, blah. Stipe will guaranteed accept that fight. And that would be, again, a humongous heavyweight fight. So I think that is 100% going to happen. And I forget the other thing I was going to bring up. So we will go ahead and wrap this segment here then. But... yeah, ton of good podcasts this week. Also, Chael Sonnen did do a fight companion for the Jacare vs. Brunson card. So if you want to go catch that, it's on his it's on his YouTube page. And pretty solid. But we'll go ahead and play this clip of the old-timey, or actually, you know what? We'll play this clip of Frank Camacho, or I should say of Luke Thomas describing Frank Camacho as a redneck and a hurricane. So check that out, and we will be right back to briefly talk about the UFC Jacare vs. Brunson II card.
Drew Dober's a good striker. Frank Camacho's a good striker, but Frank Camacho is just, he's that guy. You ever seen that video of that redneck in Tennessee? He's got like the American flag and there's like a fucking hurricane and he's playing like Metallica or something and he's just head bobbing as the winds are whipping into his face and the rain is cracking him and everyone is sheltered up inside to be away from this maelstrom of Mother Nature's fury, and he's just in there fucking that's Frank Camacho, man. He's that guy. He's just the Guam version of that.
Alright, we are back. That was Luke Thomas talking about how Frank Camacho is just a redneck fucking headbanging in a hurricane. Thought that was a hilarious bit. But we will very briefly talk about the UFC on Fox Jacare vs. Brunson 2 card. I don't know. I feel like a lot of this card either went how I expected or Andre Fili out-wrestled Dennis Bermudez and we live in a fucking parallel dimension where these kinds of things happen.
Was... Huh.
So I guess first we'll talk about Jacare beat Derek Brunson via Derek Brunson having wild-ass striking and not a lot of defense.
He did kind of read that incoming head kick, but just didn't cover up as properly as he should have.
Yeah, he also got clipped with a lot of right-hand counters, which is what knocked him out in the first fight. So...
Yeah, because they'd fought Strikeforce in 2013.
Something like that. But yeah, overall, it was just one of those performances where I expect not to know what the fuck Derek Brunson's going to do, and that's pretty much what he did in this fight. Just a lot of like waiting and then sprinting and then getting hit and then waiting and then sprinting and getting hit. And yeah, Jacare clipped him. Luke Thomas has the old-timey clip of it, and it's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, we'll keep on moving on because I don't have a ton to say about that, and it's been forever since these fights happened. I watched them at 3 a.m. in a Vegas in a hotel room at the Stratosphere, real not drunk as I expected to be. Although I was pounding PBRs at this point, and it was. So
at least you were having fun recording. I was recording this like a couple hours for my class.
Oh no, I didn't mean recording. I meant when I watched it.
Oh, when you watched it, yeah. See, I actually have no recollection of that Saturday after work. So I actually have. I think
solid.
I think I ended up going home, getting home from work, and the fights are pretty much already over, and I just got drunk and watched some shitty movie on Netflix. I don't even know what movie it was.
So it's like how I felt about the Bellator card. Because I can't be bothered with fucking tape delay, bro.
Wait, was there actually a Bellator card?
Yeah, there was a Bellator card.
I literally think no clue.
Paul Daly fought on it? Paul Daly fought on it.
You know who I sound like right now? Your boy Wes.
Yeah. I can't be bothered with your fucking West Coast tape delay, sir.
Yeah, I mean...
Plus I was in Vegas and way hammered. Anyway, Dennis Bermudez took on Andre Fili. Andre Fili out-wrestled Dennis Bermudez, which was weird.
This was
really close fight.
Very close. I think me and you both kind of like, fuck, maybe we should call this a draw.
It could be a draw. The second round is the one I'm not sure about.
I'd have to watch it again. I know initially
we also were talking
I chose Fili based on a hunch, and I liked how he looked his last fight.
I definitely gave Bermudez a third.
Yeah, I did too. 100%.
Those first two rounds were close.
For me, I'd go 1 Fili, and then 3 Bermudez, and then 2 you gotta kind of, I guess, watch again. But I think I gave 2 a draw, so that's why it's a draw.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm not mad at any of the decisions. But I thought Bermudez probably took it from the low leg kicks, but I could see it either way. Jordan Rinaldi got the...
Versus the motherfucking machine.
Yep, got the shit beat out of him by Gregor Gillespie. People sleep on his wrestling and top game.
This is one of those guys I was talking to you earlier, not saying he's going to be the Cody Garbrandt of the featherweight division, but he could be. I mean, he's one of those guys where it's like, well, who has he fought?
Yeah.
But then you quickly fucking find out this dude's better than you thought he was.
For sure. And he matches up well with the bottom half of that top 15.
Yeah. It wasn't me and you were looking at it wasn't really till he get into top 8 like Jeremy Stevens where style matchups aren't in his favor.
Yeah, but even
except
like a
for Brian Ortega, like he matches well against T City.
And even like a Duho Choi, like that's a tough fight, but that's an interesting matchup though. Like I could see it.
Dude, I can see them doing that next actually because Choi's 13. Yeah, like fuck it, let's feed you. They'll say to him, Dana will be, let's feed you Gillespie, but then Dana back and forth like, wait, Gillespie's a beast too. So it's like
it'd be interesting for sure. But I'm excited to see him again.
President Camacho.
President Camacho had about 4 minutes and 30 seconds worth of cardio and 10.5 minutes of heart.
If you could remember how, and I'm not saying insultingly, but the fact you said that you were drinking late.
Oh, yeah.
Was Cruz pretty biased towards Camacho? Because Matt Serra was like, oh, they trained together, and it was kind of uninteresting to listen to.
I would argue they're both biased. Matt Serra was so motherfucking biased towards Drew Dober's ground game off his back that, like, I feel like it kind of balances out. But yeah, also I was trashed when I was watching this, so couldn't tell you.
I don't know. Obviously, we have our bias. Cruz is a San Diego guy.
I prefer Cruz's commentary to Matt Serra's. How about that?
I think Cruz does a good job.
I like him a lot. I think he's great.
Listen to him because it's a lot of stuff that I don't understand, especially when it comes to grappling.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm also the guy who shouts about how people sleep on underhooks all the time. So whenever I hear someone shouting constantly about underhooks, I'm always the guy who's like, "Yeah, about fucking time."
That is your Chris. All right, Joe, you're gonna go look at the underhooks, or like John, you know.
That's the thing everybody complains about. Is like, all he does is fucking talk about underhooks all the time. It's like, bro, underhooks are important
because he knows
they're
underhooks.
super important. But yeah, impressive performance from Drew Dober, able to hang in there against a really tough Frank Camacho. Camacho looked good out the gate, but Drew Dober just the pressure and the pace and Camacho's cardio falling off a cliff after the first round was able to get the decision. Still wild ass fight. I highly recommend you go watch Luke Thomas's LT cast episode 1 during that fight because he's just losing his goddamn mind. Especially, I think he was really high on Camacho's trips, but also of Drew Dober's ability to get back up. So fun fight, man, and yeah, excited to see both those dudes again. Drew Dober I sleep on a lot. I don't know what there was a loss of Drew Dober's that made, or maybe it was the weight cut issues. He had weight cut issues for a bit, didn't he?
Did he miss weight, or did he just have weight cut issues?
I don't remember. But I remember not being high on Drew Dober for a while now. But man, that dude's tough as shit, and he's real scrappy. He's kind of like the less well-rounded Kelvin Gastelum of that division.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for as far as like comparisons.
Yeah, like a lot of his wrestling has just become a counter wrestling game, or if you really, really have a wrestling advantage kind of thing. But a lot of pressure and volume, and I dig those fighters, man. So big win from him. Other than that, I don't know. I don't have much to say about a lot of the prelims. I was trashed, and also, like, these prelims were a bit of a slog. Mirsad Bektic goddamn near punched a hole through a motherfucker's chest, Ray Longo style.
That kind of looked like the Aaron Pico. Not quite as much as like a finish.
Well, but it was even crazier though because it was to the fucking straight to the middle of the chest rather than to the liver.
Oh, like I remember someone
Pepe looked like he died.
Like, did he died?
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous. So Mirsad Bektic, people sleep on Mirsad Bektic. I think a lot of it is because
he had that fight against the Damage.
Well, that's the thing is people
for the most part.
All people remember is that head kick at the end. They don't remember Darren Elkins getting the shit beat out of him for fucking 12 and a half minutes of that fight.
His eyebrows were like lacerated.
He was totally fucking smashed in 90% of that fight. And just in the last 2 minutes, he's able to head kick Bektic.
Dude, I think Bektic is only 25, dude.
Yeah.
He's like a young gun, man.
He's definitely someone to keep an eye on. Bobby Green got the win over Eric Koch.
How did that go? Was that... I know Green's a striker mostly. He has some counter wrestling. Koch's more of a wrestler, I believe.
Yeah. Bobby Green was using his slick head movement as he likes to do. He
probably just lit him up on the feet. I imagine got a decision.
I believe... I have a very, very foggy memory of a lot of this.
It's all good.
We're not going to recap much of it.
Yeah, honestly, we should kind of... I don't want to say move along, but yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I did want to shout out was Caitlin Chukagian, Holly Holm, their way to win over.
Yeah, we chose the Italian. I don't say phenom, but hype train in that women's division, and Barella will be back. It was probably just one of those. It didn't perform well. That's all.
For sure. And then Nico Price got the sub over George Sullivan.
Our boy Nike Pierce.
Yeah, Nike Pierce is the man. Shouts out to him.
I like this guy. I think he's pretty young too. How old is he? It says our age, right? Click on... How old is that guy? I would guess
Nike
20...
Pierce?
I guess 25, 26.
Nike Pierce is...
Oh, 28. Okay.
Yeah, 28.
Yeah.
So that is about all I had to say on that card. But, I mean, the main card was cool. Maybe it was just because of the weird headspace I was in. Or maybe it was because there was a fuckload of decisions with not a lot of action on the undercard. But main card was good. And, yeah, Mirsad Bektic's scary. But that's about all I have to say on that. Anything else you wanted to mention on it?
I should have watched it. Sorry.
What's next for Jacare?
He's number 3. Realistically, I think it's gonna be Weidman.
I like Weidman.
It's gonna be Weidman.
The problem is Weidman's still injured. He has the hand injury he's still dealing with.
Wait. I would honestly put money. It's gonna be Weidman versus Jacare.
I think that's a fun fight to make.
They have the angle about Weidman beats up on Brazilians, blah blah blah. But I like Weidman's chances in that fight. He's a fucking fantastic wrestler.
They're both great grapplers too. Like
Weidman didn't have bad striking, and he has. I still think he has a good chin. Yeah. For the most part. For the most part.
For how much he gets blasted by people. Yeah.
Either way, great fight for Weidman. If Weidman wins that, he's back in title contention, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point.
I mean, it'd be interesting. That division's real fucking weird. The top 3 divisions are fucking weird. Way. It's stacked in a way that they sent a lot of the talent away.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Gegard.
God damn it. How's he gonna do it? Is he do you think he's the consummate future middleweight champ?
I don't know. 85 is weird at Bellator though. Like, and that Shlemenko fight was like.
I feel bad because I always forget the name of the fucking middleweight champ at Bellator. Every time.
No, I can't remember.
Someone tell me. It's fucked up, but it's like, sorry.
Koreshkov is 70, and he's not even the champ anymore.
Yeah, it's Rory.
Who the fuck is the champ at 85?
It's a Brazilian guy. I know that 100%. It's a fucking Brazilian guy.
Is it
some
Cavallo?
Yeah. Carvalho. That's the name. That's it. 100%. 100%. 100% Carvalho. That's him.
I don't know if that's right.
Nope, that's him.
Bellator 185.
Almost 100% sure. It's gotta be him. Carvalho.
Oh, God.
Right? Carvalho?
Bellator champion.
It's gotta be him, dude.
Champions.
Current champions, right? Yeah. It's gotta be him. Carvalho.
Yeah, Rafael Carvalho. Yeah. Okay, cool. See, I kind of know what I'm talking about.
I don't think he's fought in a long time.
Jesus.
No, I think he legit hasn't fought in like a long ass time.
He fought somebody not that long ago. Here, we'll pull it up.
Maybe he did fight last year. I didn't catch it. Sorry.
Record. He fought Alessio Sakara. It's because he fought fucking Alessio Sakara in Italy.
He fought the Italian in Italy. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they gifted him a title shot.
Also, that's a tape delayed card, which is why we didn't talk about it. Because fucking tape delay. God damn it, Scott Coker and Bellator. I know it's not Scott Coker's fault. God damn it.
Blame Paramount.
Yeah, god damn it, Paramount Network. Fucking Viacom, you goddamn vultures. Shout out to Viacom. If you want to sponsor the podcast, fuck off forever, because it's just not going to happen. But yeah, I don't know. It's an okay card. I'm more looking forward to the card this weekend, for sure, though. This weekend's card is going to be a lot of fun. So we will wrap this here. You guys can hear a clip of, I believe next we have old-timey Luke Thomas giving the... Or no, I lied. We were going to have old-timey Luke Thomas giving his finish of the Jacare vs. Brunson card, but instead we're going to have Riff Raff telling you about his...
Fuck yeah. His new MMM league. What's that? The Money Mayweather Mixed Martial Arts or something.
Yeah, Money Mixed Martial Arts League.
Something like that.
And the last day, just don't worry about that. We got rid of that.
He's AKA the White Dawn King. It's fantastic.
It's very good. So check that out.
I know you saw Mayweather step into what's known as the octagon. I'm gonna have to dig into what's known as the Gucci fanny pack. That's not what I was looking for. You remember the WWF? We're gonna make a new 2018 WWF. Money, Mayweather, Martial Arts. We're just taking the A out, don't worry about it. We all know they're gonna fight, but this time not in the ring, they're gonna fight in what's known as the Yodagon. I'm Bones Jones, drug test, schmug test, one of the best fighters. You're gonna go over here with Mayweather. Twitter and all that nonsense. The Brontosaurus Rex, you're going down here to the Warriors. That's a given. Me, myself, personally, I'm just the White Don King. What do I know? But for 4 easy installment payments of $339.95, you can watch this fine organization move its way up in the rankings from the comfort of your own home.
All right, we are back. That was Riff Raff being Riff Raff. I highly recommend you go watch him on Hot Ones. Fucking sweat the fuck up and lose character.
Follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, his Instagram is
I'm assuming he posts the same stuff when he tweets.
Yeah.
Probably. But yeah, Instagram.
He's even more active on Instagram than Twitter.
Yeah. And this is coming from someone who doesn't even actively listen to Riff Raff. Yeah. I just think he's funny.
No, he's hilarious for sure.
Yeah.
So we will go ahead and get into our picks for UFC Belem Machida versus Anders.
And if you're wondering, folks, where's Belem? It's in Brazil.
It's super in Brazil. It's in
Guilherme Paranaense.
Para, Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the
or
fuck.
As they put in parentheses, Mongrino.
Sure.
So I'm saying it totally wrong.
No, you nailed it. I'm pretty sure. So we'll go ahead and get through our
Sorry
picks.
to my Brazilian coworkers who both do MMA.
There you go.
And who are not listening to this.
That's funny. Where do they train out of?
Fuck, I think the bigger guy, dude, this guy's like 6'3", probably good 205. I think he's a middleweight. Mm-hmm. I think he's at the arena. As far as
a lot of big dudes are, yeah.
Yeah, and then my other coworker, he's like the same height as me. He just does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He doesn't do any striking.
Cool.
But I think he's at a... I don't know if it's a Gracie gym.
There's a couple Gracie Bajas around.
Somewhere, that's a good gym. I remember when he told me, I knew the fucking name.
Yeah.
Sure. I was like, oh, that's a cool place. You know, like, yeah. Can't remember what belt he is. I think he's at least a purple right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
At least.
Cool, man. Well, we will go ahead and jump into this card. This card has moved around a bit. After John Dodson was supposed to fight your boy Pedro Munoz.
So you said he blew weight by 6.
I don't know if it was 6, but it was by a decent amount. I think it was like around 6 pounds.
And I'll just say this right now, for anyone who may or may not have seen the lead-up interviews to this card, they asked him, John, who would win? And I think I already mentioned this, I
think we did talk about it, yeah.
I'll mention it again real quick. Who would win, DJ or TJ? Well, if I couldn't beat Mighty Mouse, TJ's not going to, because I beat TJ for it. Yeah, dude, we get it. You still aren't over that. Or, no, you're still right on that, which no one except for you cares about. Sorry. Yeah. Sure, yeah, it looks good on your Sherdog page.
But also not on the record part of his Sherdog page. It's on the amateur record part of his Sherdog page, because those don't count as real fights.
That was on Tough.
Yeah, so it is a weird asterisk for sure, but we will go ahead and get into this. This card, like we said, has moved around a bit, so we are going by the latest Wikipedia lineup. So we're going to start out with Davison Figueiredo versus Joseph Morales, which I think is going to be a fucking barn burner of a fight. There's a couple fights on this card that are so well matched and are going to be wild as shit from the little bit of tape study I've
Holy
done.
Shit, that guy's skinny. He looks like me.
Yeah, he's coming off the win over Jared Monkey God Brooks.
Oh, yeah, it was an impressive victory.
Super impressive,
albeit
really close
decision,
fight.
But yeah.
I mean, Brooks got a lot of takedowns in that fight, but
this guy's probably scrapping the feet.
Yeah, there was a lot of crazy.
Oh wow, this battle of the undefeateds, man! Wow, look at that, 13-9. Oh,
yeah, it should be interesting. Joseph Morales, Bopo or Bopo.
Is this the Team Alpha Male guy?
He is, Team Alpha Male, and he was of course on Tuesday Night Contender Series, even though it's not on his record.
Yeah, I thought I saw him there. Oh no! He was CFFC. We were there.
Oh,
that's him. This is him. Yeah.
Looking for a fight.
We were barely there.
Yeah. One of us was there.
You were barely there.
The other one was E4040.
And you had like an energy drink.
And they give it. And those dudes from Alliance gave us a shot.
And they see, I remember I immediately stopped drinking after that.
I should have stopped drinking after. I got cut off after that, but luckily there's 2 bars at the observatory. But yeah, impressive win back at CFFC over Sean Santella, and then he had the win over Roberto Sanchez in the first round via sub after fucking...
Wow, that was already almost a year ago. That's crazy.
Yeah, after lighting up Roberto on the feet and then getting the choke. Pretty impressive performance. I think this fight's going to be scrappy as fuck, man. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I'm going to say right now I'm going with Davison. I like that he was able to take Jared Brooks, who's a grappler, to a close decision win. And the fact that if you can beat a grappler just based on your volume of strikes early, I gotta go with you, man. I mean, I know Morales is a scrappy son of a gun too, but I gotta go Davison.
I think that's probably the smart pick. I'm gonna go Morales just because Davison faded a little bit in his fight.
I ain't gonna change my pick. I mean, just because I don't want to be that guy. But
no,
yeah.
Like, and he has definite ways to win this fight. He's definitely had I would argue, the higher level of competition. It should be scrappy and close either way. I think Morales definitely has a chin on him, and if he can last the early onslaught from Figueiredo, I think they're both going to throw a lot of long, straight shots, and it's going to be a matter of whose chin holds up and who can keep the pace. So I think it's going to be fun either way. You know what? You should be breaking these down, not me, because we figured out last week.
Oh, no worries. All right.
You are way better than this, so why don't we take a look at this
next fight up we got is Joe Soto versus Yuri Alcantara. Yuri Alcantara, as I remember as the MMA Vivisection, I don't want to say they didn't seem unimpressed by him, but they're not hyped on him. And let's go ahead and let's go scroll down a tiny bit. He's on a little 2-loss skid to Brian Boom Kelleher and Alejandro Perez. This is he fought twice. Looks like he fought 3 times last year. So that's good, man. If you fight at least 3 times in a year, man, you're being active. You're injury free. You're not getting knocked out. Clearly.
And that's some tough competition too. Luke Sanders, Brian Kelleher, and Alejandro
I remember Vivisection talking about Luke Sanders was winning that fight the whole time, and it just out of his fucking pocket, Alcantara just pulls out the knee bar, man. I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah,
that
it was wild
as fuck. And you got Joe Soto, one bad motherfucker. This guy who actually fought TJ Dillashaw, I believe, a couple of years ago for the fucking bantamweight title on 24 hours notice.
Yep.
No shame in that. He came off a loss to Brett Johns, the Welshman. No shame in that. Holy fuck, how impressive was that calf slicer?
Dude, especially...
the Welshman. That guy's putting Wales on the map. I have been high on that dude, Brett Johns. I am still high on him in the bantamweight division. That dude, I think, is a fucking, brown belt in, Muay Thai. I think he's adept in judo. I think this dude's probably one of the more well-rounded bantamweights on the roster. Who's unranked as far as top 15?
Especially for how fucking good Joe Soto's ground game is, and the way he just immediately snatched that shit was really that was some EBI. I want to see a Joe Soto Brett Johns EBI match, that shit, or combat jiu-jitsu match. That shit was dope.
Based on the fact that these guys are both adept at jiu-jitsu, this is going to really come down to the striking. I don't really have a really dog in this fight as far as
you're not leaning one way or another.
Off the top of my head, I can't tell who's better at striking. I mean, I guess you could say, so who is this, right? This is Joe Soto. Last time he knocked someone out was two and a half years ago. Go to Yuri Alcantara. When was the last time he finished someone with strikes? Let's go ahead and find out. Wow. A long time ago. Jesus Christ. So
about the same amount.
3.5 years ago.
But also it was Von Lee.
So if I were to just say now, this is gonna go to the distance, man. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a submission match or a grappling match, something like that. And I don't want to call it a coin flip fight, but I think you got to base it on just who you fought. So you look at Yuri Alcantara, he fought Alejandro Perez, is good. Brian Kelleher, Luke Saunders. Let's go ahead and go back to Joe Soto real quick. But he's fought Brett Johns and
Hanayaya.
You know what, man? I think I'm going Joe Soto in this one, man. This could be a close fight, but I gotta go Joe Soto. He's had a title shot before, and sure, that was years ago against TJ Dillashaw, who's better now than he was then.
Super late notice too.
But still, man, if someone's calling you on fucking late notice to get a title shot, that means something. And
he lasted, 4.5, 5 rounds against...
Dude, he was in the 5th round.
Yeah, it was 5th round, right?
4.5 fucking rounds. Yeah, man, you still got something left in the tank. I at least would think so. So, yeah, Joe Soto's my pick, man, for sure. Not for sure, but, he's my pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm leaning Joe Soto as well. I'm, number one, I'm high on Joe Soto. Ever since his performances at EBI, which have been really, really impressive, I'm leaning that way. It also should be noted, I did pick Joe Soto against Brett Johns, which did not turn out good for me, and I picked him by outgrappling Brett Johns, which also did not turn out good for me. So
we live and we learn.
Granted, well, evidently not, because I'm picking Joe Soto to outgrapple Yuri Alcantara. So I might be cursing everyone.
Part of me is kind of going off, Conor Rebush and Zane Simon. They're not. They're favoring Joe Soto, and I like their judgment. And I'm kind of leaning towards more of their judgment, really, for this one.
For sure. And Yuri does tend to fade a little bit.
Yeah.
And Joe Soto is game as fuck. I mean, he was leaking out of his goddamn head so bad against Hanayaya.
That's right.
Because of a headbutt. And that was like early in the second round. Just leaking out of his face the entire fight. Still in that fight. It was sloppy as shit, and they were both hitting the fuck out of each other. Which, when you're getting hit by Hanayaya, that can be worrisome. But, I see this fight going... I see Joe Soto being too tough to get put away early, and I don't see Yuri Alcantara being able to hang with Joe Soto's pace, and I figure that we'll see a lot of crazy grappling exchanges in the midst of, like, just a weird brawl.
Yeah.
And, I think this will be a fucking fun fight. Like, I think there's a lot of fun potential brawls on this card, so... Should be interesting.
So next up, we have a women's strawweight bout between Maya Stevenson. I'm not gonna pronounce her Hawaiian name or Polynesian name.
Joe Daddy's wife.
I'm just gonna insult her. Joe Stevenson's wife. Right on. Okay, cool. Versus Polyana Viana Mota, marijuana, if you want to call it that in slang. She's probably heard it a million times.
Polyana marijuana.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, you already know fucking Michael. We're like, Polyana cannabis.
Yeah, checks out. Neither of these chicks have a ton of big show experience.
Ooh, wait, is this both their UFC debuts?
So Maya Stevenson, of course, fought on the Ultimate Fighter.
Okay.
She got Kimura'd by Sajara Eubanks, which no shame. Potentially champ of 125 if she would make a goddamn weight. Still bitter about that. And her only she has a couple losses, one of which is to Danielle Taylor by decision, so that's always a good look. Like, while Danielle Taylor is not big, she's mighty as hell. And
she's like the John Dodson of...
100%. Yeah, she's the John Dodson of 115.
And it's funny, because I remember someone on Reddit, she actually kind of looks like... Someone's like, she kind of looks like he could be like her she's related to him.
I could see that. They're like the less athletic sister of John Dodson.
Yeah.
And then Polyana marijuana.
I'm gonna say reefer all this stuff.
Polyana,
the devil's lettuce.
Yeah. Polyana marijuana is coming off a win in Watch Out Combat Show 47.
I'm sorry, that's one of the best names I've ever heard. Fucking Watch Out. That is amazing.
Watch Out
Battlefield
Combat
is
Show.
Great. And what are the other names? There's Battlefield. There's there's so many good. But Watch Out. Holy fuck, that is great. Watch Out. God damn, because you gotta watch out.
Yeah, no. Watch Out Combat Show. Also a great podcast, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It sounds for sure like a podcast. So she's coming off that win, but she also has some wins in Jungle Fight. A lot of first round arm bars and
against a lot of Brazilian looking names, man.
Well, yeah, Jungle Fight, and she's out of Brazil.
But she is Brazilian.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Man.
Which way you leaning?
Oh man, I think I'm leaning towards marijuana in this fight.
Polyana marijuana.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta go. Yeah.
Maya Stevenson. Well, I am not as down on Maya Stevenson as everyone else is. Like, if you listen to a lot of breakdowns, people are kind of shitting on Maya Stevenson pretty bad. Like, well, to be fair, Maya Stevenson has fought a lot of fighters with no wins on their record. Like, a lot.
Yeah.
And Gladiator Challenge is like...
It's like a prove-it fight, then.
Gladiator Challenge is more legit than Explode Fight Series, the Soccer Mom League down here in San Diego.
When Cindy Danwa... No, I'm thinking of the fight you had with the soccer mom who literally just like fucking throwing hammers, right? She just got banged on.
Yeah, she got banged on by, I forget who. Somebody who's in the UFC. Yeah. Maybe Chukagian even.
Oh, shit.
No, it wasn't Chukagian. It was, I forget who. Anyway, yeah, Maya Stevenson, while I am not as down on Maya Stevenson as everyone else is, I am totally leaning Pollyanna Marijuana number one because that name is fucking amazing. And
yeah, for those who don't know, just like a lot of other podcasts, we like to give nicknames.
It's not that we like to give nicknames.
It's when it's applicable.
We like to not mispronounce fighters' names.
Yeah.
So
And
if I can't say your name, I'm
like,
for sure going to call you.
For example, Nico Price, the reason why we call him Nike Pierce is because I think me and you were both drunk as fuck, and I think you literally called him Nike Pierce. And I'm like, dude.
I believe so.
I just called him like, okay, Nike Pierce, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
we can't never not call him Nike.
After we made 14 GTA 4 jokes, I bet I think that happened,
Yeah.
right? Nico,
my cousin. Yeah. And we're like, oh wait, Nike.
Terrible.
Shit like that. But yeah, our new nickname fighter, Pollyanna Marijuana. It works.
And you know what? I will be smoking a fat bowl during that one. So, shout out to Pollyanna Marijuana. Snoop Dogg, I'm sure, is a big fan. Alan Patrick is taking on Damir Hadzovic.
And let's see. Alan Patrick Silva Alves, as Sherdog spells it out. Nugete is his nickname. Last time we saw him, he didn't fight Stevie Ray Vaughan. He fought Stephen Ray.
Well, according to this show, he fought Stevie Ray Vaughan. Because we, again, give out terrible nicknames when I'm bad at remembering names.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the nicknames just come from me fucking up people's names while drunk. So I'm like,
and I called Stephen Ray Stevie. It's Stevie Ray is what he goes by, I think, right? Just Stevie Ray.
Is it?
Wait, that's the same Stevie Ray, right? Wait,
yeah, no, but
no,
does he actually go by Stevie Ray?
No, yeah, swear to fucking God.
Okay.
Like, he literally goes...
Sherdog names
That's why we made that joke.
Okay.
And it's because of the episode of South Park where he's like, is that the blues player who died in the plane crash? No, this guy's called Steamy Ray Vaughan. He shits his britches. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, that works.
Checks out.
So shouts out to South Park. But yeah, Alan Patrick, the Brazilian, last fight out, he beat Stevie Ray. I just wanted to say Stevie Ray Vaughan again. He beat Stevie Ray Vaughan by unanimous decision. When was this? He fought a year and a half ago in September of 2016, and he's going up against Damir Hadzovic. I imagine he is Ukrainian, if I were to guess.
Something like that.
Bosnia and Herzegovina. So former USSR. I know it's fucked up to say that in 2018, but...
Everything is former something, you know?
It could be Serbia and also the same thing. It could be...
We're former Mexico. That's how I like to refer to it.
Yeah, right. It could be Czech Republic. We don't tell G6. So, either way, Damir Hadzovic, last time we saw him was May of last year. He KO'd and kneed the fuck out of Marcin Held.
Damn near killed a man. That was a nasty KO.
I remember that. That was real bad. 7 seconds into the third fucking round.
Are they both coming off a loss? Do they both have a loss to Bareback Tysonov via KO?
Oh, wow.
One's KO, the other one's TKO.
Ooh.
Man, that's interesting.
Ooh.
There's some fun matchmaking on this card.
Dude, this is a close fight to call.
Yeah, man, this is. Alan Patrick also has the win over Damian Brown, and Silva.
We go back to
some Bellator
Alan
fights
Patrick.
and shit.
He hasn't fought. He has a longer layoff.
True, September 24th of 2016, so it's been a year and a half almost.
Damn, that's a lot. Fuck.
And Marcin Held is the win back in May that
I'll say this
Demir
right
got.
now. Ring rust is a mental thing. I don't think it's real because I think, in my honest opinion, you could be gone for a long time. I feel like you're only as good as how prepared you are in your camp. It depends on how really well your camp was. I really do believe that.
I could see that, but
It
also,
takes
can you
study.
guys tell Chris is a Dom Cruise fan?
But yeah, right. Yeah, right. Just gotta plug that in. No, don't get me wrong. Ring rust definitely affects people. It does, 100%. Like,
for sure.
It does. It really does.
If it does, like
If it does. Wait, it's not really a fact because technically it's not a fact.
Some people
there's
it-
nothing really based
some
on
people
fact.
it
It's
messes
factually.
with.
You can't prove it or disprove it. So basically,
right.
it's
all in the individual.
it's subjective. So it's just really based on how you can prepare for a fight. Even though he hasn't fought in a long time, I think I'm gonna go with Alan Patrick in this one, based on who he fought last. I know Marcin Held is a tough son of a gun. Yeah, I don't know. This is weird, man.
You leaning Patrick on this one?
This is a coin flip for me, dude. It's fuck. It's a pick 'em because it's not literally. It's not literally a coin flip. I mean, I can flip a fucking beer cap, but I don't want to do that bullshit again because usually I fail at flipping it. You know, and you got.
Also, I feel like that turned out really badly for you.
I think I got like all of them wrong.
Yeah.
So
probably. I've been going back and forth on this one. You
gonna go with Demir?
I'm gonna go Alan Patrick.
Oh yeah, it's Patrick or Patrick. I don't fucking know.
I think it's Patrick.
You're probably right.
But the problem is I listen to very, very well researched, well thought out pronunciations from John Anik and Laura Senko.
Oh yeah.
And then I listen to Zane Simon and fucking John Nash.
Or John Nash.
Absolutely murder fucking names.
Liato.
Yeah, and I just
no.
then I start I have to have this inner dialogue as I'm about to say the name about like fuck who said which one. So I have to like try and picture John Anik in my head every time I say a fucking fighter's name, which works out great for some people, like Stipe Miocic. Which I still fuck up all the time.
Oh no, I say both now.
If I don't think or like Habib instead of Khabib.
Oh no, see, I fixed that.
I've been working on it.
I fixed that. Like I figured because I just think of Islam, you know, and just like certain Islam.
Makhachev.
No, right. Good plug. By the way, if you go to Kevin Lee's Twitter or Instagram right now, almost on every single post. Islam time. Swear to God, it's great. It is fucking great.
That's
and I remember someone was like, "What if Kevin Lee converts to Islam? Then the joke's on them."
Yeah, dude, that would be fucking great.
No, and then someone of course said his new name would be Muhammad and then Lee spelled E. He's son of a bitch. He's son of a bitch.
That's pretty good.
It makes sense though. Muhammad Ali.
That's pretty good.
Oh my.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Alan Patrick. I don't know why. Hadzovic looked good in the fight that he lost up until he got clipped. He was winning most of that fight. No, sorry, Held was winning most of that fight.
Sometimes you're only good until you get knocked out.
I just mixed up both fighters. Who's who?
I don't know now.
Okay, Hadzovic looked. Sorry, Marcin Held looked good up until he got killed in the face by Damir Hadzovic. I'm not saying he was winning the fight, but it was very competitive. And then he just got clipped on a bad entry, almost like what's his face style, Aljo. Style.
Fuck yeah, he got clipped.
Yeah, where he dove in and caught a knee.
He just changed the wrong side.
Yeah, changed levels at the wrong time and caught a knee. But I'm gonna go Alan Patrick. I have very, very little confidence in this one. I could honestly see it going either way. I feel like if Hadzovic can, and I'm probably butchering that name, apologies. There's way too many fucking characters over the top of letters for me to pronounce that correctly.
Dude, it's Hadzovic. Yeah.
I'm hoping.
100%. Or Demir, whatever.
Yeah, we'll go with Demir. If Demir can get takedowns and wear out Alan Patrick, I feel like he's got a decent shot. I think Alan Patrick is going to be too explosive, and while he will get tired in the third round, I don't think he will Marcin Held himself. So I'm going to go him.
So next up,
I'm really excited for this next fight.
This is a fucking solid matchup. We got Sergio Moraes versus Tim Dirty Bird Means. Last time I saw Sergio Moraes, sorry, Sergio, you got knocked the fuck out by my boy Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman, who may or may not be a secret top 5 welterweight, like unofficial. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, he's got to fight the best to be the best. We know that.
Yeah.
And he will get an opponent who wants to fight him. Someone who's ranked will probably like, fuck it, let's go. You know,
for sure.
We'll see. Hopefully, it's Colby Covington.
And he wasn't doing awful in that Kamaru Usman fight up until that those last couple exchanges against the fence.
Right. It was just when
he was still landing hard on Kamaru Usman.
Granted, this was in the first round too. Holy shit.
It was a wild fucking fight.
So that's Sergio Moraes. He did have a couple wins against Zach Otto and Davi Ramos beforehand, early that year and later in 2016. Then you got Tim Means and Dirty Bird. I remember he had that little rivalry briefly with Cowboy Oliveira, or I should say, whatever you want. I know the Cowboy fans say, he's not the real Cowboy. You get it. Brazilian Cowboy.
To be fair, he did lose the title of Cowboy.
Yes. So sorry.
To the official Cowboy.
I'll say from now on, it's Alex Oliveira.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Gaucho.
Although I guess
some people just call him Gaucho. They just call him Gaucho. Yeah, let's call him Gaucho. It works.
I like that.
Yeah. So he lost to Gaucho. It was a no contest,
marks.
to be fair, because was it Gaucho that need him in the fucking head? He need Gaucho in the head. He need Alex Oliveira in the fucking head.
I thought Alex Oliveira need him in the head.
No. I remember because he need Alex Oliveira in the face, right? And I remember someone on Reddit's like, bro, I saw some footage where it's like Tim Means was in the locker room and Alex Oliveira was like totally fine. It's like he didn't even actually go to the hospital and there's controverscy, right? And they're like, I want to fight this motherfucker again, and they ended up fighting. And Alex Oliveira beat him. He wrestled him pretty good. Tim Means' last out though was against Bilal. Remember the name Muhammad. A split decision. I did not watch this fight. I believe you did. I think you told me Bilal wrestled him. Because I was on the Vivisection, they were talking about how Bilal used his wrestling.
I believe it was more like cage control against the fence. I did not go back and watch tape study on that fight.
Okay. Because I'll say this now.
Not a very similar
I'll be
matchup,
honest right now. This is pretty 50-50 for me because I know Moraes is a name that's been around who's dangerous at this weight class.
Yeah.
I know Means is very dangerous at this weight class for what he can do with his elbows and his reach. He's a lengthy guy. At this point, I kind of actually don't even really know who to pick. I'm kind of leaning towards Means, towards he has more experience. That doesn't always mean he obviously you're going to win.
Shouts out to our main event.
Yeah.
But they both come off of tough losses.
I think
like it's a tough matchup for sure.
I can
see it going a lot of ways.
I think when I'm gonna lean, I think my pick's gonna be Tim Means. I think it's gonna go the distance. Both these guys are tough fighters. Means, has he finished people before? Yeah. Has he finished someone lately? Not really. If I just remember right now. Actually, no, he did.
Sabaha Masi back in August of 2016. That's a while back. It's Sabaha Masi.
Yeah, he was on Tough with Black Zillions and HET, and he's I don't want to. Okay, that's fucked up. I shouldn't say it like that. But
in comparison to the level in the division, he's clearly below Tim Means and Sergio Moraes right now.
Either way, this fight to me is kind of a wash. I'm not gonna not choose someone. God, you gotta choose someone.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Means just because I like his striking. Moraes, and to be fair, I'll be honest, I haven't seen too much of Moraes besides him getting destroyed by Usman, who, well, let's be real, Usman could destroy a lot of people in this division. So
you've probably seen a lot more of Moraes than you think, considering he's fought in the organization since 2012.
Moraes has a lot of impressive victories. Okay,
a lot of decisions.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna go Means via decision. These guys are they're not decision fighters, but based on their fighting styles and their toughness, really, unless you're fighting Kamaru Usman, these guys could last. And I'm gonna go with Means. I don't know. I think it could swing either way. So
I could see that pick. I've been going back and forth a lot on this fight. A lot. I originally had Tim Means in fantasy. Magwar.com, shouts out. We're super legitimately sponsored by them. Super legitimately, just like all our other sponsors. But I originally picked him up and I can't do it. I always pick Sergio Moraes unless he's fighting Kamaru Usman. I'm a big Sergio Moraes fan. I understand that a lot of his game is just like either front kicks or like pretty much like teeps or giant winging overhands with his right or his left hand.
Yeah, Vivisection.
Like, that's his entire game.
They said he's wild as
That's
fuck.
his entire game. Is like, I believe they neglected. They said he has 2 strikes. It's his front kick and his right overhand. They neglected his other essential strike, his left overhand, which is he throws in combination with the right. He kind of windmills, but he windmills, and he's very good with his timing, and he's very good on entries. They also did mention that Sergio Moraes is able to get the takedowns consistently against... wait, did they both fight Zach Otto? Or did just Moraes fight Zach Otto? Yeah. Moraes is able to consistently get the takedowns against Zach Otto via that single leg to trip, which is the exact thing that Bilal Muhammad kept catching Tim Means with. And I think if Sergio Moraes gets this fight on the ground, it's a fucking wrap. It's not even close. Sergio Moraes is a very high-level grappler. He's very good in scrambles, and he's very good at grabbing your neck, especially against
Fuck, you know what? Is it cool if I change my pick?
You can change your pick if you want.
No, because now that you say that, now I remember when Alex Oliveira fought a second, he wrestled the fuck out of me. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm changing my pick.
Sergio Moraes is not a great wrestler.
Yeah, but still, I'm changing my pick. I'm going fuck. I'm changing it. Nope.
You go Moraes?
Yeah. No, I'm going
by what? Decision?
Yeah, they're still going to go decision, but I got to go Moraes.
All right, well, I'm going Moraes by sub probably... I don't know, second round, I would say, probably. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be scrappy. I think Tim Means is going to lose some grappling exchanges and end up on his back. And
yeah, I think Means
is
going to try to excel like in a clinch game.
Yeah. I definitely think it'll be a war, and I definitely think Sergio will get clipped a lot and hard. However, I don't see... As far as I can tell, I'm heavily leaning Sergio Moraes as of late. So I will go that way. I would not be surprised, though, if Tim Means just stays on the outside and
By the way,
him.
This next fight is Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Marlon Chito Vera. I love the fact that Douglas Silva de Andrade's nickname is De Silva, so it's Douglas De Silva de Andrade. Sure.
No, I prefer it because now I can just call you De Silva and shorten the fuck out of your giant long name.
There you go. So Douglas De Silva is fighting.
So De Silva is fighting Chito
Vera, who is one of my favorite fighters.
I love Chito Vera.
I've loved watching this dude fight since Tough Latin America 1. This guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And I always fucking mix him up with Marlon Vera. It's because they both have the name Marlon.
Wait. Marlon Moraes, huh?
Shit, see?
You literally just said, I always mix up Marlon Vera with Marlon Vera.
I know.
I'm like, that'd be tough unless he has a twin.
Quite literally name, the problem
which is like
I have.
Some Kimbo Slice shit.
I guess I don't know.
Named all of his kids after himself.
Yeah. I guess I don't know anyone named Marlon is my problem.
No, I got you.
Because
the only other Marlon I know was a baseball player who, he was aight. Marlon Bird back in the mid-2000s. But yeah, other than that, you're right.
But and I'm a big fan of both of them, and I know the difference when I see them. But in my head, when I say the name Marlon, whatever comes after that is like a 50-50 fucking as to whether it's correct.
I'll say this now. Last time we saw Chito fight, he fought John Lineker. John Lineker, what is he? Hands of Stone.
Tough 3-round fight.
He's short as shit. Sorry, it sounds fucked up, but for that weight class, he really is.
No,
tiny.
he's super short for the weight class.
5'3".
Also, you're like as tall as him, so it's not offensive for you to call him short.
Oh no, I'm taller, which is why. No, that's why.
And also, go ahead and tell them how much taller you are.
Like 3 inches.
If that.
Yeah. What is he? 5'3", 5'4"? So
yeah.
What's John Lineker? 5'3", 5'4"? I'm about 5'6".
We'll pull it up. We'll pull it up exactly.
I'm the same height as Dillashaw and those 5'6". Wow, holy.
He's 5'2". Wow,
yeah.
You got 4 inches on him. All right, he's short.
Yeah. Okay. But
just like how John Dodson is short, though. It's not,
but that's what I'm saying. I embrace being short, but I will talk shit on someone who's shorter than me. Obviously not talk shit in a fighter sense, because he would murder me, clearly. He'd murder a lot of us.
He'd murder the world.
Yeah.
He would murder,
He'd murder
world.
someone who's probably 6'4".
I've got a lot of 250-pound, 6'3" friends who he would murder the shit out of via body punches.
It's fighter versus plebeian.
Also, just that dude hits fucking hard. Yeah. But yeah.
But yeah,
anyway.
Either way, moving forward, I should say. Douglas De Silva versus Chito Vera. I like Chito Vera in the fact that he has a chin. He got blasted by John Lineker early, the first 2 rounds.
Blasted.
And I think you'll agree with me, in that 3rd round, it was all Chito Vera.
Yeah.
Lineker. Gas.
100%.
Chito's fucking just laying it in combinations. He had slick gas tank. I like Chito in this fight. He's my pick. I'm a little biased because I like this fighter a lot, but I really do like him in this fight. He's one of those underrated guys, you know, in the division. I don't know if he's ranked, but he's my pick, man. I got Chito. I love his story. He's still a young guy. If I were to guess, how old is he? I'd say 25, maybe 24.
If that.
How old is Chito?
25.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He's got ways to go, man.
No, I'm
he's
100%.
fighting for his daughter, you know, like
Yeah, okay, so I was going to bring it up because I always have a panic attack about whether it's Marlon Moraes or Marlon.
It's Chito,
Yeah, you know, he has a great cause. He's done some, if you go look up the Sherdog interviews with TJ DeSantis he's done, they're fantastic, and talk about how he has a daughter with a disease where she couldn't talk for a lot of her life.
Well, she can't actually express any
emotion,
facial
whatever,
expressions
right?
at all.
Yeah.
She can't move her face, unfortunately. I know Dana on Tough said, I'll pay for surgery. He didn't. I mean, he didn't.
No, he Paige Van Zanted that situation.
Yeah, Brian Stan.
Where you're like, oh, I'll shave my head.
I'm not calling out Brian Stan because I know Brian Stan's a good guy, but Brian Stan had a podcast where he said, I'll put an event together. My understanding is that the event never happened. That's probably but I remember Brian Stan literally had him on the phone and said, hey, I'm going to put a fundraiser for you together where we have other UFC fighters.
Yeah.
They're going to raise money for your daughter's surgery. I'm assuming Dana or someone didn't let that happen. I don't know how that works. Either way, I just don't know the status of his daughter, to be honest.
And I do know that I believe he did get
I think he did raise money.
for it.
No, I swear to God, I think he did raise money.
And I believe TJ
So Brian Stan
DeSantis
probably did raise money for it.
It could have been that Brian just gave him the fucking money, too. Brian's a really good guy. But I know TJ...
Yeah, I don't see that not happening.
Yeah.
Honestly, if Brian Stan's going to tell you, I'm going to help you raise money, I don't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah, and also, like, I know TJ DeSantis...
He's just not going public with it, which, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be public with it really either.
Yeah, and also I know TJ DeSantis did a lot of stuff, like, promoting him early on, and because Cheeto was an old... was a dude that had been around that scene for a while and was, like, always very cool to TJ, so... it was cool hearing a lot of those interviews, which if you guys are interested, tweet me at TSOV Pod or at The Pulver, and I'll send you links for those interviews because they're fucking great. But I'm going Cheeto. I like Cheeto too much. De Silva de Andrade, yeah. I could see him winning. It's going to be a tough fucking 3-round fight if he wins, and he's gonna lose the last round.
Yeah, Cheeto's one of those fighters. He just brings it on.
Especially the way he's able to start figuring out people's games as they're fighting him. He's a real tough out. I don't think he's gonna be easy to take down, which I think is Douglas Silva de Andrade's best way of winning this fight. So it'll be interesting, but I'm leaning Chito Vera. Probably by finish in the second via TKO.
He has those sharp knees. He has some sharp knees.
Sharp knees, solid head kicks, sharp hands. Like, I feel like if he can... If De Silva slows down at all in the first 2 rounds, I feel like Cheeto can pour it on. Yeah. But if he doesn't slow down, then I feel like Cheeto will win the 3-round decision, taking the second and the third. Maybe the first. I don't know how... It depends on how desperate De Silva gets on those takedown attempts and how that ends up playing out. But I'm really high on Marlon Vera. The same way I'm high on Marlon Moraes, honestly. Like, I think those dudes are slept on a lot. And I think, especially like...
Moraes has impressive resume as of late, too. So.
Yeah. Oh, and Marlon Vera is like going the distance with John Lineker. People sleep on that shit. That's insane. And he got hit with bombs by John Lineker. Didn't even faze him, really. So, I am pretty high on Marlon Vera, and I'm definitely going that direction.
The next bout we have is a middleweight bout between Thiago Santos versus Anthony Smith.
Yeah. Weird fight.
What do you think of this? Pretty weird.
I mean,
we got Thiago Santos' 3-win fight streak.
Yep.
All by finishes TKO in the first 2 rounds. I mean,
Hermanson,
Jack Marshman, who was... he wasn't like an acclaimed striker, but Marshman had some hype on him.
For sure.
Joe
Hermanson had some hype on it via his like wrestling and top control, but still got finished. And then Mearshart.
And then we got Anthony Smith. Knocked the fuck out Hector Wow, he has 3 finishes in a row too. This is a banger.
Yeah. It's gonna be
I don't think this is going past 2 rounds.
Really?
If both of them have 3 fucking finishes in a row, I mean,
that's
shit.
true.
Yeah. This is interesting. This to me is kind of a pick'em or a coin flip, really.
It's definitely a tough one.
Each of these guys have 3 finishes in a row. I mean, this is how I'm picking. I'll tell you right now. So, Smith, yeah, he beat Lombard. He used to be the former Bellator middleweight champion, if I recall correctly, back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Right?
You might be right. I don't know. I know he was in Bellator.
I believe I'm right.
I don't know how to Google that.
I'll Google it. Either
Here,
way,
I got it. Keep going.
I'm gonna go ahead and choose Thiago, only because this is a pick'em to me, and that they both won 3 fights in a row via finish, but he did them quicker. I know it's kind of juvenile to think that way, like he did them quicker, but I don't really know how else to really gauge this, man, because to me it's pretty even. Even as fuck.
It looks like he was the CFFC champion and the Victory FC champion, but not.
No, this is Smith. I'm talking about Lombard, bro.
Oh, Lombard.
I said Lombard. I was saying Lombard was Bellator,
he was a
right?
tournament champion. I don't know if he was a
middleweight
belt champion.
Wait, click on his name. Can go back to Wiki.
Lombard.
Yeah.
Because the way Bellator worked early on was weird.
Oh, just like OG Bellator.
Well, yeah, because that was back when it was.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I just remember someone said it before. Go up. He's at the very top. Yes, click on Hector's name.
Because that was back when.
And then go down to his team.
That was back when Bellator had like weird tournaments and shit.
Wait, go down. Let me go down.
No, we need this.
Middleweight championship one time.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, here's the inaugural. So he was.
Okay, so that was when they started signing.
It's when they started it. Yeah. But yeah, whatever. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, because that was literally Bellator season 1.
Okay.
It was the first season of Bellator. Bellator is weird. The way it used to be like in a tournament format, it was so cool.
Oh, you know why I remember that? It was when I listened to Ben Askren on Joe Rogan.
You're right.
He was talking about Bellator guys who found success or limited success in the UFC. He's like, oh, look at Hector Lombard. You know?
Yeah, for sure. So you say you're going Santos?
Yeah. And dude, it's honestly I could like pick Smith too. It's literally I don't say this is a bullshit pick, but like, sorry.
I'm going Santos too. Wow, do we even have a different pick? Only our prelim fight so far. I mean, so this fight goes one of 2 ways. Thiago Santos wins via knockout in the first round and a half, or Anthony Smith wins via knockout or decision in the last round and a half.
Yeah.
It doesn't go any other way. Anthony Smith has shown repeatedly he's hittable and hurtable. He also has a good chin and can recover. It's just a matter of whether or not he can recover against Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos has been putting it on motherfuckers lately that have very similar, like Jack Marshman types. Like, I feel like if Thiago Santos lost to Jack Marshman, I would pick against him in this fight. The fact that he won against Jack Marshman makes me lean towards Thiago Santos. I
remember Marshman hyped too a little bit.
Yeah, and like I'm not insanely confident. Like I could easily see Santos not landing anything in the first minute and a half that's significant and losing this fight by getting out wrestled for the last round and a half. But I don't know. I'm gonna go Santos, but just barely.
The next up,
next fight's weird.
We have a heavyweight bout between Timothy Johnson Bronson.
Classic.
If I were to call him that, Timothy Johnson Bronson.
Ooh, I like that. That's gonna stick.
So we got Marcelo Gomes. Yeah, Timothy Johnson Bronson. Marcelo Gomes.
Coming off the win to
Christian Colombo.
Yeah, Christian Columbus.
Which sounds like a WWE fighter's name.
Or a founder of
or a racist or genocidal killer.
Well, yeah.
Indigenous people.
Right. I say founder because I'm doing the uppity white person
You
version.
sound like Randy Marsh from South Park
yeah.
from this past season. He's in love with Christopher Columbus.
Really?
And there's an episode
That's
where
so weird.
Okay, listen, you know Ancestry.com?
Yeah.
Randy, there was like the episode where they made fun of how people were like spray painting on Christopher Columbus statues across the country.
Mm-hmm.
South Park was like, okay, let's make Randy Marsh someone who every Halloween dresses up as Christopher Columbus for some weird fucked up reason, like he loves him, right?
Sure.
So there's a part where South Park becomes aware that Christopher Columbus is not cool anymore. So Randy Marsh wants to prove that he's not like a racist white guy. So he finds a Native American guy and hires him and makes out with him to do a spit swab for his Ancestry.com thing. The Ancestry.com people are like, oh, by the way, this makes no sense. Like, you can't be like 100% Native American. So now we have to take a sample from your asshole. So basically, the Native American guy thinks, like, oh, wait, this guy loves me. And he brings him flowers and let's go steady. And then Randy's about to, like, try to say, all right, let me just do you now. Take your sample from your ass. But they stop him from doing that. He gets his real sample, and they find out he's 30% Neanderthal, and he's just a moron, and that's how that ends. But, yeah, it makes fun of Ancestry.com, too, and it's totally Randy Marsh. It's a Randy Marsh episode.
That sounds like a South Park-ass South Park episode.
It is pretty hilarious, because it makes no sense. It makes sense, but it also makes no sense. It's pretty great. So, yeah, sorry for that random South Park reference, but for anyone who's seen a new season, it's kind of hilarious.
That's all right. It's probably going to be more relevant to this fight, to this card than this fight is to the division. So, on that note, Marcelo Gomez coming off the win over Christian Colombo.
You got Timothy Johnson Bronson losing to Junior Albino, the baby, wearing a diaper.
And he's also fighting the next Junior Albini, as explained by the Vivisection, Marcelo Gomez. Yeah, it's a weird fight.
Yeah. Part of me wants to go with Johnson Bronson, but dude, I think I might go with Marcelo Gomez, because you've already lost to Junior Albino once. You might lose to him again.
I mean,
but I can't.
It's possible,
really,
for sure.
I can't really trust someone though who only has one UFC fight. You know me. You know me, guys.
Oh, we have another contender for best ever fucking promotion name, Mr. Cage Championships, Mr. Cage 28.
Oh god! Imagine if Nicolas Cage was there.
I was thinking Xander, but yeah.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Bro, Michael.
I live for this shit. Ding, ding. No, but see, what I was thinking of Nick Cage or Gone 6 Seconds, this would literally be every time they fight.
Thunder Fight 4.
That's amazing. Watch, this would literally be Nick Cage. He'd be like this, watch. Alright, let's fight.
Yeah.
They just go.
No, that's a good Nick Cage reference that no one can see. It's the
Gone in 60 Seconds, y'all.
Yeah,
Memphis reigns.
It's the hand motion from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Hey, Donnie, play Lowrider.
Yeah.
You'll get it.
Boom, 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 boom.
Alright, let's fight. Let's fight. yeah, this actually...
That's not
No, Eleanor.
I knew it's an old white person name.
No, dude. Priscilla is a car. I think it's like a Ferrari. I swear to God.
I knew it's an old white person name.
I just remember that one scene. Hi, how you doing, sir? Roger. My name is Roger, too. How can I help? I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, boy. So which way you leaning? I'm sorry, I got distracted by Nick Cage references.
Yeah, this is...
I need to watch Con Air. I just realized I need to watch
That's my favorite Nick Cage movie because his accent is terrible.
Oh,
and
God.
Put the bunny back in the box.
It's not Peggy Sue Got Married bad, but it's pretty close. At least she's not doing fucking Gumby's horse friend.
I'll say it again. The worst scene in the movie is when they're in the hangar. Remember that Colombian drug lord's trying to escape in the plane behind Cyrus's back, John Malkovich's back? He fucking goes, he's like, you shoot the gun off, he'll hear you. Puts on the silencer. Well, hooray for the sands of fucking silence. Like, what? Great screenwriting. Great screenplay.
I watched Leaving Las Vegas recently.
That movie's
People
great.
forget how good an actor he can be.
He won an Oscar. He won? Oh, dude, it's crazy. Gary Oldman, I would almost say objectively, is a better actor than Nicolas Cage. 100%. But Nick Cage still has an Oscar.
But Nick Cage has better moments, though.
By the way, though, Gary Oldman is nominated this year for Best Actor, so please, I'm rooting for him. He's got to win an Oscar.
Also, shouts out to Wild at Heart, another very, very underrated Nick Cage performance, where he basically plays David Lynch Elvis.
Okay.
It's great.
Check
it's
that out.
fucking awesome. It also has oh god, Pockmarks McGee, blonde, Pockmarky, hear deep sound coming out of old Baba Peru. God.
Sam
What's his-
Elliott? No, he doesn't have Pockmarks.
No, way uglier. Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah.
Love Willem Dafoe, by the way. I
Hey,
talk like that because
I'll
I
say
love
this.
Willem
To
Dafoe.
Live and Die in L.A. is a fucking fantastic
Yeah.
movie. Also, shouts out to Green Goblin for all you original Spider-Man children.
No shouts out to Green
I'm
Goblin.
kidding.
That was terrible.
I'm kidding.
All right. Anyway, back on track.
Mississippi Burning.
Marcellus,
Fantastic.
there you go.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Me, the being a movie buff, I'm getting carried away. Marcelo Gomez, Johnson Bronson, dude, this is another fucking just toss-up for me, man. And you know what? I think I'm going with my boy Marcelo Gomez. I gotta go with the wave, the Vivisection. If you lose to Junior Albino once, you're probably gonna Thunder's gonna strike twice, or Lightning's gonna strike. Thunder doesn't strike; it makes noise. Lightning's gonna strike twice again. You know what I mean? Sorry, guys. So I gotta go with my boy Gomez.
I'm going Bronson Johnson.
Johnson Bronson, same thing. Yeah.
Bronson Johnson. I just don't think he's gonna get deaded in the first minute and a half because of the amount of damage he's able to absorb.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's just
that
gonna,
mustache is a pretty good shield.
I mean, we haven't seen Golm go anywhere outside of the couple minutes in a fight. His longest fight is 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
By the way, shouts out
And
to...
that was in Aspera FC 18.
By the way, shouts out to TJ Dillashaw naming his newborn son Bronson.
No, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, Bronson Jack Dillashaw, something like that. That's cool. That's a pretty cool first name. You can call him Bron. Fuck it. Once that kid gets... That kid's probably going to be shredded like a julienne salad. It's probably inevitable. You know what I mean? He's going to be training that kid in the Bang Muay Thai system. So...
Yeah, you just gotta be careful how you phrase that. You don't want to be like, I'm training the kid to bang, bro.
Yeah. My kid can bang early.
Let's see.
Desmond Green versus
Michelle Prazeres.
I wasn't going to say Michael, because I heard someone tell me it's Michelle. Michelle Prazeres, who, by the way, I think is being forced up to welterweight.
That's what they say, but they don't really force people up.
Okay,
that's
so
not really
see
how it
how
works.
he's listed here at 5'8"? Some asshole on Reddit says he's 5'6". So who's right?
I would probably trust this. Wikipedia is probably more accurate, though. But they're going to have his weight at like 500 pounds right now because it's editable by the public.
By the way, I know you saw this. Joe Rogan had posted on Instagram when Stipe beat Ngannou, some brilliant person went on Wikipedia and under method of victory, they said dominant victory, immigrant mentality.
Oh, I did not see that, but
That
that's
was
fucking
amazing,
amazing.
yeah.
Also, Joey Diaz did come on Joe Rogan Experience this week to talk about the fucking immigrant mentality, dog. It's never in level, dog.
Steepich.
Steepchich.
So last time we saw Michelle Prazeres, actually he's on a pretty impressive fight streak.
He's got some names on there.
Yeah.
You want to list them off, or you want to just look at them?
Mads Burnell was his last victory, in September. He beat him by 69, or north-south choke. Actually, his last two victories were by 69, so he loves his 69. Mads Burnell...
Excuse you, John McCarthy clarified this week that someone asked John McCarthy on his Twitter today, I believe, when we're recording this. They asked him, "Hey, John, is it legal to strike your opponent's groin with your chin in north-south position?" And he said, "That's not north-south position, that's 69 position, and that's a different sport." Which I thought was very good. So, classically incorrect, according to John McCarthy. But he is, like you said, he's coming off the back-to-back subs of Mads Burnell and Josh Berkman. And then he also has that win over Gilbert Burns back in 2016 on the Cyborg vs. Landsberg card. And he is taking on Desmond Green, who Desmond Green's come off the loss to Rustam Habilov. God damn it, Jack Slack, you almost made me call him Husam Habilov. And he also has wins over Josh Emmett and Martin Brown. Josh Emmett win, although it is split decision, is looking real good in retrospect, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, to be honest, in this
Which way are you leaning?
I was leaning Desmond Green 100%.
You think
because
so?
of that victory over Josh Emmett. I remember, I was like, wrestler versus boxer. You know, I picked Josh Emmett, I think, way back when that fight was, and Desmond Green, no doubt, man. He kept on the feet, had a good takedown defense.
Yeah, that was back in April.
And Praceres, I'm assuming, is a grappler guy. And Desmond Green's got that boxing, man. And either you're really good at boxing and you can come with counter wrestling, or you're like Conor McGregor and have good boxing, and that's it.
Yeah.
But then again, it's really good boxing. Whatever.
Kickboxing, but yeah.
Yeah, kickboxing. Yeah, excuse me.
So you're going green on
I'm
this?
going, with green.
You stay green, bro?
Yeah. Smoke green, stay green, eat green.
Dog.
Green all day.
Pollyanna marijuana is on your side.
Well, yeah, boy.
I'm going Michelle. Number one, he blew weight, which means he didn't cut weight. So that helps.
Power advantage.
Also, he's a fucking beast. He's coming off the win over Mads Burnell and Josh Berkman, which does very little for me. However, he does have that win over Gilbert Burns, which I think he's a lot more telling for this fight. I'm pretty high on Trator. I have been off and on for a while now, and I believe I picked him in his last couple fights. I'm picking him again. Desmond Green I like. I don't know if he can stop the takedowns of Trator, and I don't know if he can stop specifically getting ran up against the cage and just kind of outpaced and outworked. If he can get past Praceres, I think it's Praceres.
I think it's Praceres.
Whatever. If he can get past Michelle.
Michelle!
I do think that says a lot for his placement in that division.
I think so.
But I'm leaning Michelle. The weight cut is a big factor.
You called him
to be honest, for me.
Trator?
Yeah, Trator is his nickname.
By the way, here's the...
Which I believe is tractor in Brazilian. That's hilarious. Immigrant mentality.
Domination.
Domination via immigrant mentality. Fucking Joey Diaz cocksucker.
Stiapich.
Yeah. Kalabib.
Oh yeah, Francis Magabaloo.
Magabaloo was a good one.
You say that.
It's better than Luke Thomas's fucking Ngannou.
Oh, remember he corrected it.
He
finally?
keeps correcting it now.
Well, he'll go like this.
He says it both
Francis,
ways now.
Excuse me, Ngannou.
Yeah. He goes Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, excuse me.
Ngannou.
Yeah.
He keeps putting an apostrophe in there where I don't think there's an apostrophe there.
No, there is. It's literally an apostrophe.
Is there?
I swear to God.
Oh God, we've done that wrong.
No. I swear to God, because when I type in my
I've
notes,
never typed it that way.
I type in my notes, it autocorrects.
I've never typed it that way in my life. So I would say apologies to Francis, but Francis is not listening to this podcast.
He's taking time off visiting family in Cameroon, which I don't blame him, man. Go see your family.
Yeah.
Go see your fucking family.
Even if they are in Cameroon.
Dude, he's probably like royalty there. Let's be real.
Well, we'll see after this fight. All right, so up next we got the squash match of all squash matches.
Valentina, the Bullet Shevchenko
yeah, I was gonna
versus
say
Priscilla.
somebody gonna eat a bullet in this fight.
Cachoeira.
I don't know if that's maybe the best phrasing now that I think back on it. Maybe someone's not gonna eat the bullet on this fight.
Someone's gonna get got.
Yeah, somebody gonna get got. It was correct.
Can we just get this out of the way now? I'm picking Valentina Shevchenko.
Of course.
I'm sorry. Total disrespect to Priscilla Cachoeira with her very impressive win streak right now at 8-0. Maybe she is the best thing since sliced bread at 125. Who knows?
True, she did fight in the Hip Nose fight.
That's a great name too. Hypnose. Wow.
I know. I'm sure it means something different. I'm sure it's like Hypnose.
Dude, wait, X-Force? What is this? Some Marvel shit? Where's
X-Force
Deadpool, Wolverine, and
Face to Face 13 is also very good. That's
what we got. We got Face to Face. We got Thunder. We got
Your Chance Won. That's a good one.
That's like some Eminem shit. It's your only shot, your only opportunity.
Yeah, no.
Arms sweaty, knees weak, mom spaghetti.
Yeah. Oh, fucking Mom's. You heard that he opened a Mom Spaghetti restaurant.
At Pop Shop, yeah, or whatever. A pop-up, yeah. Whatever.
Fucking white people. Yeah, I mean...
3-1-3.
Oh, god damn it. Yeah, so, I mean, we're both taking Valentina, right?
Yeah.
What are you taking her by? Because that's a much more interesting conversation.
I'm just going to say decision. It sounds goofy.
Me too.
She's that kind of... She's that point fighter.
Yeah, she's going to stand on the outside and
But she's gonna
punch
make
this girl in the head a lot.
She's going to make it look like a clinic.
If this girl lasts 2 rounds, she has a good chin because, oh boy, does she get hit a lot in fights. Like, it's a lot of planting feet and just...
This is premature.
Fucking...
I know this is... I don't want to call this a tune-up fight because it's very disrespectful.
No, it's 100%... It's not a tune-up fight. It's a showcase fight.
Yeah. So, what's next? I mean, this division is shallow.
They're trying to give her the title shot.
Yeah. And... this is so fucked up, dude. I'm such an asshole right now. Nico Montano, dude. I was literally going to say, who's the champ again? I'm sorry.
By the way,
I literally was
you
just
had
about
her
to
in
say.
fantasy.
Yeah.
She was on your goddamn fantasy team and won you a lot of
for my
points.
cousin. Let's be real. Because I just wanted to say, yeah, my cousin's the champ for now.
Yeah. No, Sajara Eubanks is the champ for now, as far as I'm concerned.
She can make weight.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. And that's why...
In my honest opinion, Shevchenko's going to be the champ.
And that's why I think Shevchenko's going to get the title shot after this. Is because it should be Sajara, but I don't think they're going to trust Sajara to make weight. I think they're going to make Sajara...
You fucking blew weight on your goddamn biggest...
Pretty bad.
You can't be doing that.
Yeah, so I think they're going to have Sajara fight somebody at 125. I don't really know who. It kind of depends on Sajara's turnaround. She said she's trying to take time off and stuff. So.
I don't know.
No.
I'm kidding.
God. I mean,
I was totally kidding.
I have Sajara on my fantasy team. I just realized. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and get Sajara Jessica Eye happening. Because that's a fucking awesome matchup for my fantasy team. That's a fucking guaranteed early finish via sub. But, yeah. I mean, Valentina takes this all day. Probably decision. Unless Priscilla literally gets so...
Muay Thai shit.
Well, so the other thing that I think might be interesting is Valentina's ground game's really good.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Like,
oh, dude, she's submitted Pena.
Yeah, and Pena's ground game is really good. Yeah. The thing is Pena pushed the takedowns, which I don't think Priscilla's going to do. If Priscilla does push the takedowns, I think she gets probably armbarred or guillotined.
Yeah, it's
actually, probably not guillotine. Probably armbar or RNC'd. But I think, Valentina should take this. I'm, again, leaning decision, but, yeah. This is one of the most lopsided fights I've ever seen made in the UFC.
Oh, no, it's fucked up. I know the division's new, but I was like, who is this chick?
Dude, Matt Brown, Diego Sanchez was one of them.
That's really bad.
Takanori Gomi versus...
whoever the fuck...
Whoever killed him in that fight, I ended up picking up a lot of these in fantasy, and I feel bad about it because, how do you sanction that? But yeah, I'm 100% leaning Valentina. And then the last fight of the night,
the main event.
Since John Dodson is no longer fighting, Pedro Munoz on this card.
Yeah, who I had and I thought was gonna beat John Dodson. Everyone, I know it sounds a little nuts, and I love Munoz's guillotine.
And I believe,
the size of it.
Yeah, I would have liked John Dodson by decision, pretty easily, just off of being way too quick for Munoz and having too good a counter wrestling.
I actually totally forgot about that.
And his counter wrestling is really good. But
I'll say this: main event, not Lyoto the Dragon Machida.
Shouts out to you, John Nash of Bloody Elbow.
Lyoto Machida, he got blitzed, destroyed, whatever you want to call it, by Derek Brunson.
Sprinted at and punched in the head.
Last October. Before that, he was serving a suspension. I believe that wasn't really just, because I think it was
it was a 7 keto DHEA, which was bullshit.
Yeah. He got fucked.
If you're curious about how much bullshit that was, go look up Ian Kidd, IAINKIDD. If you look up his article that he did, I believe for MMA Junkie, it's fucking fantastic, and it breaks down exactly why it's absolutely ridiculous to even have 7 keto DHEA on the ban list, and it's a fucking bullshit suspension in the first place. So look that up.
So we got Lyoto Machida, who his last 3 fights haven't been kind to him as far as how they've ended. Versus Eric Andre. Not Eric Andre. I can't want to say Eric Andre. You know, I'm going to call him Eric Andre. Sorry. Yep. He's Eric Andre now. Eric Andre. Just kidding. Eric, ya boy. literally his nickname.
Yep.
Probably one of the greatest nicknames
Also,
ever.
shouts out to Sherdog for spelling it incorrectly. It's your boy B-O-I, not B-O-Y.
Yeah, that's the best way to spell boy. So he's clearly hanging with the boys.
He's clearly, he is. Sherdog is clearly
By the
not.
way, Eric Anders.
Keep going with Eric Andre.
Eric Andre actually was a defensive lineman for fucking Alabama in 2009. Won a title in Nick Saban's first tenure there. So this dude's clearly got explosiveness. Fucking clearly, if you're playing for Bama. He had a quick stint in the NFL. I think he signed with the team, but couldn't make it. But then again, the NFL is in a fucking NFL. Like, Jesus Christ.
As Brendan
like, Open St. Preux couldn't even make the NFL, and he was a fucking, like, all-American fucking defensive lineman, too. You know what I mean? Like, but either way, this is why Eric Anders is fucking undefeated. I'm not saying because it was a football player, but that certainly goddamn helps with its athleticism. And you know what? That's why I'm going with him in this fight. I'm telling you right now, I'm going Eric Andre. I'm on that hype train right now. Eric Anders.
He's your boy?
Yeah, my boy. He's my pick. I like Lyoto. I know he's still got good karate. But yeah, I gotta go with the young athletic guy in this one. I feel like it's a safe pick. I don't want to mean any disrespect for the former champ, Lyoto, at 205 at least, but I gotta go with Eric Anders in this one, man. That's just me. I like the undefeated young gun against this, and
I'm with you on that. I actually have Eric Anders. We'll figure out this weekend. Thanks to John
the
Anik.
Scandinavians call it Anders. You know that thing.
Yeah.
We all call it Anders because we're super American and
Right.
don't give a fuck about pronunciation.
This is another one of those Zane Simon versus.
Oh yeah.
What's the fucking.
Yeah, Eric Andre. If you can hear us, you're totally fighting.
There you go.
Tomorrow.
Eric Andre, please show up sober, not on LSD for that fight.
Yeah.
Also, you can't bring Hannibal Buress into the cage with you.
Yeah. I'm trying to bird up.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% going to Eric Anders. Here's a fun stat that's depressing looking at Lyoto's Sherdog page. Lyoto Machida's last two wins were CB Dalloway in 2014 and Gegard Mousasi in 2014. And before that, it was Mark Munoz in 2013. That's not good for your career if those are your last three wins, none of which are in the UFC anymore. Like, Gegard is like, that's a kind of, it doesn't really count because Gegard should still be there if they would pay him what he's worth, but I don't have any faith in Lyoto Machida's chin.
Neither do I.
And they made some really good points on the Vivisection specifically about Lyoto's entire game is based off of countering when you throw, like, same time counters with a long left, which is like, that's a live or die by the sword kind of approach to counterpunching.
Yeah.
And if Lyoto can make it to the third round in this fight, he might take this fight.
Yeah, but
if Lyoto can stay on the outside and just fucking Tito Ortiz him the entire time and just throw a lot of, like, outside bullshit and a lot of bullshit kicks, he can probably win the world's most boring decision. But if Eric Anders at all is able to land at all on Machida, I just don't have any faith that he has the chin to not immediately get rocked. So
yeah, that's both of our picks for this fight.
I'm going that one.
I think we should kind of quickly review our new fighter nicknames for our podcast because we always love introducing new nicknames because it makes it intriguing and fun.
Yep.
So we got Eric Andre by victory. We don't know what method of victory.
Yep.
Over Lyoto Machida. Our other new nickname was Timothy. Was it Bronson Johnson or Johnson Bronson?
I believe it's Bronson Johnson.
Timothy Bronson Johnson, because of that sweet mustache. The other nickname he got was Douglas De Silva, because it just makes it short and concise.
Also, his nickname is actually De Silva.
That's why we said that too, because it works. I think other than that,
I thought we had another one, but I don't remember
did.
what it was.
I can't remember.
Hey.
Oh, Pauliana Marijuana.
The
Dave.
nickname of all nicknames.
Dave, one of the best nicknames ever. God damn it, that'd be amazing. Or just MJ.
Yeah.
Like, why MJ? Don't worry about it. Pauliana, MJ, and Fiona, or
you know what?
Mary Jane. Pauliana, Mary Jane. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they'd figure it out. Like,
That's
but yeah,
right.
Pauliana, Marijuana, Viana. Look at that. It's almost illiterate.
Beautiful.
But not really, because
beautiful.
clearly it's not.
I've never met a nickname I liked more, so Shout out to Pollyanna Marijuana Viana. God damn it, I'm gonna keep calling her Viviana, and that's gonna get real offensive. Because I'm just mixing her up with other Brazilian people. Anyway.
Viviana Pereira.
Yeah, exactly. We will go ahead and wrap this here. But I think this card, overall, you think this is going to be a fun as hell card? Because I really am hyped on these matchups.
Yeah, I think it's some solid fucking fights. What time is this, by the way, for this?
I believe prelims start at 4 Pacific, I believe.
Let me double check that for us.
Go ahead. While I wrap us up, but if you guys don't know, as always, first off, we're at the end of the show. I start with first off. You guys should check out Sydney MMA and Kangaroos MMA in Sydney. Shouts out to Judo Bill Tyler. He's the man. Also, check out MMA Tycoon. Those two sponsors are not at all related. That's a total real gym we're sponsored by out in Sydney. And shouts out to Natural Ice for being whatever terrible beer I had in the fridge. Also, shouts out to Sierra Nevada Porter. And, I had a really good IPA from someone earlier that was solid.
Oh, yeah.
It's like middleware or something weird.
Real quick, in 19 hours, 12 minutes, and 46 seconds is the main card, which is a.k.a. tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific.
Right.
The prelims start at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. Will it be 6:30 Mountain? I can't remember. No. 5:30
Mountain time.
5:30 Mountain, and then 6:30 Central.
If you're in Mountain or Central, you know what the fuck time it is because you can translate it from one of the real coasts.
And if you're in Hawaii, the fight's
If you're in Hawaii,
it's 4 p.m. Pacific because you're 3 hours behind Pacific.
Yeah, if you're in Hawaii, the fight's
4 p.m.
yesterday or tomorrow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, it would be 4 p.m. tomorrow if you're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Hashtag UFC Hawaii. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Max Bless Holloway. Speaking of which, I am going to go head kick some motherfuckers with Angela Hill in EA UFC 3, so...
Speaking of which, my friend Jordan just texting me right now, fuck EA, so either he's playing Madden or UFC right now.
Yeah, I was going to say Ultimate Team might be fucking him right now.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to check out our website, you can find it, thesoundofviolence.com or sovpod.com. You can email the show, tsovpod on Twitter, or you can email us individually. You can email the show sovpod@gmail.com or christhesoundofviolence.com. Twitter, tsovpod. I'm also the Pulver on Twitter. Or if you guys want to see my drunken antics in Vegas, the Pulver on Instagram, where I was real hammered and just like fucking taking pictures of hotels, talking about how the Flamingo's a goddamn national treasure, or just me drinking beers and doing a 360 outside of the Venetian. So have fun doing that if you want. Hit us up, let us know what podcast we should be listening to. Also, I should probably plug this more often, but if you guys subscribe on iTunes and give us a review, that really does help the show. As everyone says on every podcast ever, it really does, because iTunes is a motherfucker and all they care about is ratings and reviews. Also, same with YouTube. If you subscribe or give us a thumbs up on YouTube, that's always helpful as well. We do also, I don't ever plug this really, but I do put together any podcast that I listen to that are in video form throughout the week. I always tag them and I make a playlist of the recommended MMA podcasts for, say, episode 66 this one is. So if you look at our playlist on Twitter under The Sound of Violence, you can see any of the podcasts that are on YouTube that we talked about, including ones we didn't talk about that I didn't even get to listen to yet, like Brennan Shaw Big Brown Breakdown episode 64 with Kevin Lee. So.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet either, and he recorded it like 2 weeks ago, so it's like meh. But yep, if you guys give us a sub and a thumbs up or whatever fucked up metric they have, that'd be cool. But let us know what MMA podcast we should be listening to, and we'll be back next week with, I believe, is there a big card next week? What the fuck is next week?
221, I believe, dude. Starting
is
next
it?
week, yeah.
Jesus
Fuck yeah, dude. Yep, the 10th. Yep. Motherfucking 221 Luke Rockhold versus...
Oh, yeah, Perth is next weekend.
You, Mike.
Wow, that'll be interesting. So we will definitely be back with that. Also, I forgot what the also was, so fuck it.
Yeah.
until next time, everybody, go watch any streams Demetrius Johnson is doing for EA UFC 3. Also, go watch whatever streams Jens Pulver is doing for EA UFC 3. And Angela Hill, Angie Overkill on Twitch.
Unofficial,
all fantastic.
Shouts out to unofficial sponsor, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah, PUBG.
Just gotta say. Fortnite, what game is that? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, Fortnite's a fine game, but PUBG for life.
Yeah, and on that note, everybody, go get some Moist Johnson streams up in your life off DJ's Twitch channel. Go do something decadent. We out. Bye.